Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session. I can see you, Jackson. Today we are continuing our playthrough of the Two-Headed Serpent. You can get your own copy of this campaign over at Chaosium.com. All of our previous VODs are over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and if you are watching us there, we do stream live each week on Twitch Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific. That will, of course, all change next week as we go into flippin' daylight savings, and then it's like a disaster for 3 weeks as one side of the globe decides to revolt against the rest. We'll figure it out as it goes. We are stable here at 10 a.m. Australian time, though, so we'll adjust around that. Now, we'll do a short recap as we were off last week. But first of all, I want to give a thank you to Roll20 and Sirenscape for being tools which we use to improve our games. And then, as we return to Iceland, our heroes have all traveled here because a volcano is threatening to erupt and devastate the peninsula, as well as there is possibly some Inanite, there's the Serpent people, rooting around a sort of facility buried somewhere in the area and possibly doing unknown and untold damage. Now, they have attempted to land, and a whopping great big silhouette has chucked hunks of a building at them, so they have taken back to the skies and electing to dip out a little bit early. Our 4 protagonists have taken flight, holding on to Dr. Sam's marvelous flying machine, but in an attempt to do some rather advanced maneuvers, the 3 non seated characters, that's Lieutenant Carter, Mr. Smith, and Minnie St. Clair, have all been dropped, scattered along the peninsula, and now in the dark night are dropping down towards forest as Dr. Sam is just wheeling back around to come towards them, unaware of the sort of shooting star behind him that slows down and descends into the volcano itself, only spotted by Lieutenant Carter and Miss St. Clair. That is where we will pick things back up, and we will do introductions as Lieutenant Carter plummets through the air, holding onto their parachute. Art, do you want to pick us up?
Whee! Hi, I'm Art. I'm playing Lieutenant Aries Carter. This is, I feel like, not the first time the good lieutenant has had to do a halo jump or something similar. So I suspect this might go slightly better for them. That said, I don't know what skill our darling keeper is about to make us roll. So it could go terribly. I guess we'll find out whether Aries has done it before or not as we go live. But yes, Lieutenant Carter is looking a little bit worse for wear physically, although, as always, their presentation is immaculate. Any kind of scuffs or scruffiness just kind of lends an air to their overall demeanor more than detracting. At least that's what I insist in my head, because in my head Aries is fucking hot, and that's just how it goes.
And I refuse to compromise on that. No matter what horrible serpent person disease
my appearance is only 60, so like, you know, it's that I'm pretty sure I'm only so, but I've decided to carry myself like I'm cute.
You're hot but very unapproachable, I think, is it, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I have an intelligence of 90, so I'm one of those people that you're just like, oh god, if I talk to you, you're going to take strips off my soul, please. No.
Leave me alone. Yeah, fantastic. All right, next, let's meet our flying not your captain, doctor, flying doctor. There we go, we've got that.
That's me. I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, who's just here to keep everyone in one piece and keep them in the skies. And one of those is going well. Everyone's still in one piece.
That's true.
But we are plummeting toward the ground, and that's okay. Where we belong. Where you all belong.
Man wasn't meant
I've got the flying machine. I'm fine. I can stay up here for hours. No, I've already run out of fuel. It'll be fine.
He's taking it well. He's taking it very well.
What else can I say?
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good time.
You'll make around. They've all got parachutes. This was planned for. You can
exactly right.
You can deposit down. You can pick your favorites as well. This also might be a chance to get rid of one or two of them if you were, you know, so inclined.
It was planned for in 2.5 minutes. I don't know if that counts as planned for, but it'll be fine. Honestly, this will be fun. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, all right. Famous last words. Okay, let's jump across to Jim.
Absolutely. I am Jim, and I am playing Hubert. I am the big man with a big heart. I fumbled the check to try and parachute successfully, so I am tumbling towards the earth at top speed. But I've figured out a solution. I've closed my eyes. I think it's going to work perfectly. It's scary. There's a lot of wind going up in my face. I can see all of the stuff that I could impact against. And since I have realized as I start to slowly descend into the inevitable tailspin, I have no control over the situation. I've closed my eyes. I've held on tight, and I'll land. And that'll be that. And it'll to the winds of gods now.
You've been through so many unnatural disasters. Plummeting from the sky honestly just seems like the logical next step, and then you can deal with the volcano after that.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's just up the road, right? Yeah.
One after the other. Fantastic. All right, and lastly, Alex with Minnie.
Hello, I am Alex, and I'm playing Wilhelmina St. Clair. I have never done this before. I have never bailed out of a plane or been yanked off a plane, as it were. I have never parachuted. I've been on many adventures, and not this one in particular, and I'm not sure that I care for it.
You rather
making
prefer...
eye contact with Lieutenant Carter. Help! 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 Help!
Spiral down towards the ground. Yeah, you do rather strike me as someone a bit more comfortable when their 2 feet are on the ground.
I'm small, I am sneaky, I feel very exposed here, quite honestly.
There's possibly a level of you weren't planned for this, so you didn't have a chance to read the instruction manual for the parachute, and that really irritates you.
You're also so small and light that I feel like if the wind picks up, you're gonna go up instead of down.
Bad time.
All right. It is fairly late at night. You guys were coming in when the sun was beginning to set, and it is now fully dark. Most of the towns in the area have no lights showing, so there's very little to guide you by, and reasonably thick clouds are obscuring much of the moon. So you're kind of just looking down at sheets of dark forest, and in the distance you can make out barely the silhouette of the volcano rising up in the distance. Dr. Sam, in the past, we've established that your machine is fairly quiet, and when you kill the engines, almost completely. And as you're sort of humming along, it's only after a little while that you realize that there's no sound coming from the others behind you. Wheeling around, you will just make out Carter and Minnie plummeting in the distance, just as probably Carter rips the cord on their chute and begins to slow their descent, and then Minnie a moment later figuring out their own and giving it a tug. Now you two are closer to one another, but you are not within shouting distance or anything, and with a slight lack of control and kind of being thrown by the winds, you are beginning to stagger a little bit further. Sam, I want to establish first what you are doing, because you probably have the most control of the current situation.
It's true. Yes, so you alluded to it last session that it sounds like the parachutists are going to be split up.
Yes.
And
you fully can't see
Hubert.
About that. You don't know where he is.
That's fine. I have plenty of faith in Hubert's ability to survive just based on his, sheer build.
Prodigious mass.
I know Lieutenant Carter has plenty of experience in the wilderness, so I'd be inclined to try to stick close to Minnie and land near to her.
Okay. All right. So you make a few sort of minute adjustments, and the plane begins to dip around and spiral. This will be just to the point that you'll see Minnie rip the cord on her own chute, and as the parachute unfurls, sort of whiter color is much easier to spot, and you're able to track her on your descent. Now, you do also have your Falcon, Lancet, who could possibly be sent after another. You could probably fire them across after Carter, maybe, and kind of connect.
Why do I have an animal companion if you've got to remind me I have him and what I can do with him every single time? I feel terrible.
Well, what you can do with him changes based on the wind's fate and how much I'm willing to argue against what you're pitching.
All right, yeah. So, well, I can't see Hubert. You know what?
fully
If I
cannot
can't
see
see Hubert, I think Lancet's probably best like spend the time looking for him
Okay, all right.
to try to get us back together. So that's what I'll.
You can't see
intuit.
Hubert. He can't see you.
Yeah, I've raised up my arms and I'm holding them out as if I am a plane, and I'm feeling the wind whip against my face. I'm streamlined for this, and I'm letting fate take me.
Like a plane or like a blimp?
Well, either one. Do blimps have wings? I guess
Oh,
they've got
they've got
like
little
little
fins.
stubby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like any of the majestic airbound devices that have graced our skies.
What if Jim Peter Pan? Think heavy thoughts. Yeah. Just make sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, the way down. Hey, Hubert, did you change outfits for this expedition?
I think this is the only one that I definitively didn't change outfits for, because we had to run out from the whole.
We do have like cold weather gear though, so we're like a little bit more like rugged up than usual.
Presumably we have like standard gear supply organization, but
you'd have, like,
Hubert didn't get the chance to
stamped.
accessorize, unfortunately.
That's right.
I'm functionally dressed, which feels like I'm naked.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Sam, you begin to wheel around and chase down after Minnie. What I'm going to need from Minnie, Carter, and Hubert is going to be just straight dexterity rolls, and this is going to be your control of the parachute and your landing. Hubert, I'm going to give you a penalty dice because of the fumble on the luck roll. So yours is going to be just a little bit harder as you, sort of spiral down towards the ground. So let's see how these roll
Dexterity, eh?
Great.
Great.
DEX.
Here we go.
As expected.
I can't possibly roll worse than I did already, so there we go.
23, hard success.
Okay, you just go straight roll.
Yeah.
did you say
Also,
penalty?
Hubert's was a penalty, I believe.
Hubert, you just rolled on Carter's one. Sorry, that was what threw me.
Did I roll on Carter's one? Oh my god!
That's
Sorry.
right. You just click the close one.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I can't roll worse because it's a penalty
100%.
die, so I'm
okay. So Carter, you are in control of the situation, and like you said, you possibly have done these before. You are able to, once you get close enough, rip the cord on the chute, and then you are quickly beginning to scan the ground for a safe enough place to land. It takes a little while to finish the descent, but eventually you will pick a clearing in the trees, hit the ground, sort of roll out of it, and can begin to pack up the chute shortly after. Additionally, with that, and with your extreme success earlier, you track Minnie, and she is probably like a short hike through the woods to the north, and you can see Sam wheeling about around her. Unfortunately, Minnie, you have ripped the cord on it, but you are unable to control it much, and you're basically being blown by the winds as you move around. You're pushed even further off course, deeper into the woods at the highest point of the peninsula, and as you see Sam wheeling around behind you, suddenly you feel a wrench as a section of the parachute catches on the tree line, and then a couple of jolts as you batter through some branches, and then you are stuck, hanging in the air, caught by the cord, a sort of several meters up above the ground. For yourself, Hubert, that was a failure, right?
That's correct.
That is right. You are blown once again deeper off course, and after being spun around, you begin to lose your positioning. Now, you are actually quite a talented sort of survivalist, navigator, because of your experience traipsing around through wildernesses and marked trails. So you can kind of reset yourself, but you are thrown deeper into the peninsula, and by the time you get caught, you as well will be trapped somewhere up on one of the trees in the deepest portions of the woods, several meters above the ground, and with your parachute knotted around several branches.
Got it. At least it's not like the one tree in the flat expanse of rocky Iceland. It is an actual wood that we can get
there is
caught
a
in.
forest that's because the point you dropped across was right in the center of everything, away from the roads and things.
Absolutely. It'd just be very embarrassing if we hit the one tall tree and got stuck in it.
Okay, Carter, you land, and Sam, you are still airborne but can see Minnie. Hubert and Minnie, for the moment, you are kind of pinned in your places, unless you want to immediately start hacking yourselves down. So, Carter and Sam, what do the two of you want to do? Actually, let's start with Sam, I guess.
Sorry, coming down, landing? Or...
Yep. So you can find a point. It'll be a little bit further away from Minnie, but you can deposit the flying machine. There is a road not far from here. As you are landing, you can see that one section of it has been blocked off, the point that heads further north. But you can land on the road itself, and it's reasonably safe. It looks as though the seismic activity has thrown some small rocks and things across it, and it's definitely not a landing strip, but it's well within your ability. You can nose the plane down and find a point to set it up, and then is the intent to just head across towards Minnie?
Yeah, I reckon so. Get down to the road. Hopefully Minnie will see in the road as she came down as well.
Minnie got pretty turned around. It takes you not too long to find her, though. And as you approach, Minnie, would your immediate instinct to be to start hacking at the cord, to unknot yourself, to get to the tree and clamber down? What does Sam see as he approaches?
I would probably have a look around on the ground first to make sure there was nothing particularly awful waiting for me. But yeah, that'd generally be my inclination. I would assess where I was. Actually, no, I probably wouldn't. No, get me out of the parachute.
Okay.
No.
You're quite good at climbing, is that right?
I am.
Would you go, because you could also try and get your hands out and go up the parachute and actually get up towards the branches, and then you could attempt to untangle the chute and repack it, or you could just go for a knife or just unhook the belt and drop yourself down as quickly as possible.
I think I'd probably try and climb into the branches so that I wasn't going to just fall.
Yep.
But priority would be like untangling myself from the cords and then just unhooking the,
Okay, can you
probably
please
wouldn't cut through it. I would probably just try and get out.
Yeah. Could you please give me a climb roll as you haul yourself back up some of the cords onto the branches and then bring yourself safely down towards the ground?
Very ungainly, but very...
Oh, well done.
Dexterous. Very, makes it look effortless, but awkward.
Yeah. You can haul yourself back up, and the chute was only knotted around a few branches, and it's enough you can actually unfix them, drop them down towards the ground, and you will be able to repack this parachute so that you can use it again or carry it with you. You don't just need to slice it off. Dropping the bag down towards the ground. Sam, just as you enter the clearing, Minnie is lowering herself down the tree and onto the flat surface, stable once more.
What the fuck, Sam?
What do you
What the fuck?
mean? We haven't done that before. First time for everything. I think we all got down in one piece.
Well, do you know where Hubert is? Because I don't. I know Carter's somewhere there, and obviously they'll be fine because they're Carter, but...
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the thing? Did you see the shooting star that landed in the volcano and then the... Oh, we don't have time for this.
Look, Hubert's made of pretty stern stuff. If anything, he'll just bounce off the ground, I think. Look,
he was set on fire last time we went somewhere. He's been...
Yeah, and then he got back up again.
Yeah, yes, I guess, but also what the fuck, Sam?
Look, just take some deep breaths. Let's have a look where we are. We
I came out of a plane.
Oh yeah, me too. Look, we just look around. We'll see that we're safe in the immediate area, and then once we know, the immediate area is safe, we just expand out to the next area as long as it's safe, and then we know we're safe there, and then we just follow.
Do you know where you put your plane? Do we have a marker for how to get back to it?
Yeah, well, it's just over there in the road. I reckon we follow the road for a bit and see how far it goes. We all know where we're heading, right?
Yes, we know where we're going.
Where should we? Did we all have maps? I hope we all have maps.
Yeah,
we all have a map.
Sam,
I think we need to find Hubert.
I think everyone would actually probably have a map.
That's
Minnie,
pretty
because
safe.
you're more interested in like the
definitely got
location. Carter, because you're a tactician. Sam, because you're the pilot, and Hubert, because you are like a navigation and survival person. So I think all of you would probably have your own personal copy that you can make notes on, as well as like basic things, small notepads. You guys weren't super outfitted, so it's kind of going to be that and your more standard equipment. But yeah, you'll all have maps at least.
Speaking of which, are the viewers seeing the map now?
No, but I can show it to them. So let's have a look at the mapski.
Map.
Here we go. This is a map of the volcano peninsula that is that our heroes are scattered across. The red dots show the flight pattern of the plane, and the blue circles are the landing points. You can also see my crude rendition of the Chaosium symbol next to Olofsvik, which is where the aid camp should be positioned. Now, the hero is not necessarily aware of where one another are, but Dr. Sam and Minnie are not far from this road here that cuts up between looks like Frodia and Boyer. Yeah, crushed it. Sam.
Pretty sure
and...
that's a TH sound. Just FYI.
Yeah.
You're a TH
Brother.
sound.
Brother.
Yeah,
So, Sam and Minnie, as you begin to head back up towards the road, you suddenly hear the crack of branches coming from the direction that you are heading. There is a snap, a break, and it sounds like the footprints of several things moving towards you at reasonable pace.
I think I would have held onto my rifle when I got out of the plane.
Yeah, that's all good.
Oh, goody. And I'm going to hide. I would like to be not seen by these things.
Okay. Minnie scrambles down towards the ground and out of the way. Sam?
Oh, that feels like a good idea.
Okay.
I will also attempt to hide, but in the opposite direction of Minnie,
Okay.
because my stealth is 20.
Sure. Why don't you both go ahead and give me stealth rolls? And you can take bonus dice on this.
Very kind.
Oh, thanks, Keeper.
Oh, that's a
Oh my
crit.
God, what is that? Is that a crit?
That's a crit.
It's a crit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. All right. Well done. Sam, you kind of panic for a moment and
Is that a fumble or is 96 a fumble?
yours is also going to be
96 is a
75 because
fumble.
you've got a bonus dice anyway.
Oh, a bonus die.
But
Okay.
96 is the fumble.
96 is a fumble.
Sam, you sort of, pivot for a little moment before just standing behind a tree and hoping whatever it is will not look on the other side. Minnie, you all but evaporate into the air, moving away and actually getting a chance to circle around and possibly get behind whatever is coming. However, it shortly reveals itself to be a herd of reindeer that are moving through the underbrush, and they are moving at reasonable pace right past you, and it looks as though they're going deeper along the peninsula, away from the volcano, and towards, in theory, the direction that Hubert might have fallen and the others. Shortly after this, as you sort of skirt away, wait for a moment, you will see a number of other smaller creatures, a number of sort of hares, a couple of birds and things taking flight, all moving in the other direction, away from the volcano. Minnie, you'd be well aware through your research, and Dr. Sam as well, as you have some sort of animal connections. The nature of animals fleeing before major events.
I am personally aware of this
Yeah.
as well. There was we were camping once, and we were sitting outside in the evening, watching the black cockatoos, and they all lifted up and flew away all at once, and we were like, "Oh, isn't that pretty?" And then an hour later, we got hit by a hurricane, by a cyclone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, in a tent. That was fun.
Far out.
Did you make it out alive?
No.
Ah,
This is a ghost.
Correct. Yes. If you see all of the animals suddenly collectively get up and leave,
You should do the
bad.
same.
You should do the same thing. You should follow
Because
them.
you're an animal.
It's also
And you
where
don't wanna
things
be-
get eerily quiet before storms happen. Is every animal's just been like, "Oh, motherfucker, bye," and then it's real quiet.
Like, we just seen it. Oh, that's pretty.
So you see these animals move past, and after you sort of remove yourselves from hiding and skirt around heading towards the plane, you will see this event occur a couple more times. Less so with larger creatures, or with smaller things, but all moving in that same direction. Minnie as well, honoring that crit, will give you a bonus dice from here on out. Basically, anytime you are in these woods or this sort of region for hiding, you've got a pretty good sense for it, and you'll be able to sort of...
I've got my shadow trait
You
anyway.
actually,
so
you should have already had 2 bonus dice on that one. So hell,
Whatevs.
double it up. Roll a bunch of
whatevs.
them.
I'm confident enough in that skill. It's cool.
Hell yeah. Okay. You skirt around and you can make your way towards the flying machine. Is the intent from here to just follow the trail, the road up north, where it will in theory reconnect with the larger one that you originally flew over on arrival?
Well, yeah, I guess that's where.
Yeah. I mean,
Did we agree on a
until.
rendezvous point? We must have,
Yeah.
surely.
But we
Kinda
know
just
where
threw
we're all
yourselves over
going.
the plane.
We know
We do
wanna
know
get
where
to
we're
the-
going.
We want to get to the Caduceus camp, surely.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where we'll head.
The only thing is that, do you know, is Lance going to look for Hubert and get him to
Yes.
us? Or,
Yes,
okay.
that's
Or
what
come
I
back
did
and tell
back
us where he is and we go to him. But okay.
Back up in the plane, I sent Lancet to go find Hubert because I lost sight of him. So hopefully that'll help us get back together again before we get to the camp.
Suppose.
I mean, the worst case scenario, I suppose, is if we can't find each other before we get to the camp. Then we have to get in there one by one.
But Sam, what if... What if he wasn't dropped? What if he didn't fall out or be shaken off the plane in the same areas? What if he's further behind us and has to catch up? And if he's not sideways or ahead, then he's going to have to navigate the forest on his own.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we can't know where he is because we can't know if he's ahead of us or behind us. So we can't sit still. I reckon. I think we just got to start moving, and he'll do the same.
I suppose.
I reckon he'll be all right.
Yes, he's a tough fella, but I suppose.
From here on out, can I assume that the two of you are moving fairly quietly, or are you trying to get torches out, flash them, and rendezvous with the others to make some sort of sight? Like, are you concerned that you might just slip past one another?
No, I think we want to be solo. Let's not get any trolls on us. Can we follow
there's
this
really
road?
is there really only one way into Olisvik?
Via the road, yes. There's one major road. There's a couple of like smaller, like goat tracks you'd be pretty much unaware of. They're unmapped. But you're aware of the one major road. You are also aware that most of these have been blocked up because cars can't get through here. So they're probably going to be disrupted and shaken at points. You can also, now that you are on foot, you could just bush bash to get your way there. You could just go off-road
I think we'll stick to the road, but like on the edges and just try and move quietly. But I think the idea is that we get close, right? And get to a vantage point where we can hopefully spot the others and if we do pass them.
Okay.
But we've got a couple of options here because we didn't want to fly in because we're very vulnerable when we're landing. So I probably don't want to jump back in the glider and head straight there.
No.
We can push it along the road. If we take to the air,
move your pace
it's going to be
a little above a crawl, moving that along the road.
Yeah.
You also you were able to land it, but a short period beyond it, you'll find a crack through the road that the wheels can't go over easily, and you'll have to lift it over that. It's pretty pinned here unless you take it back to the skies.
Maybe
that said, there's always a role you could try and pilot it, but.
What if we camouflage it here, and that way at least it's not where all of the shit is likely to go down.
Yep. Nope. Yep.
And if we can make sure that if we can have a vehicle as finding a vehicle as a priority once we get to Osvik, and
we can get back here pretty easily.
Have this as our kind of two-phase getaway plan, I suppose.
Yeah. No.
Keep the plane out of harm's way.
All right, we'll get to camouflaging it, which is perhaps what we could use that amazing stealth crit for, because Minnie found an amazing hiding place in the reindeer that also just happens to fit the glider.
100%. I mean, moving it across the road is probably pretty safe, and as long as you just get it away from anything that's going to stampede across it. It also does pack down, as evidenced by previous things, so you can, if you take the moment to just take like the most vulnerable pieces, like the wings, and probably detach them and stow them away. Yeah. So returning to the plane, you'd have some light supplies, some extra sort of bits of rope and ration and things. You can sequester those about your body and grab a pack or two, so the two of you are a little bit better outfitted than the others. After taking, it'd probably be a half an hour or so to sort of disguise this, reconvene and everything. You then set up off the road, bound north, hoping to rendezvous with the others. Minnie, Carter landed somewhere around that area as you head up towards them. We'll head across now to Carter, who, after landing successfully, you sort of land down in a small glade, pack your bag, and being a sort of such a tactically minded person, I presume, survey the immediate area, get out of the way, get a sense for things, check your compass. Pretty closely where you are. There is a there is a road a little bit to the north, and you will also, after a short period, find evidence of animals fleeing in the direction of away. You know that Minnie landed a little bit to the south, and you also saw that Sam headed towards her. From here, actually, because you landed smoothly, you possibly even saw Sam begin to head down to touch down a little bit a ways.
Cool. I mean, if these two are spending some time faffing about and packing down the plane, if I were to head in their direction pretty much immediately upon assessing that I and my equipment is sound, would I be able to get to them by sort of the time that they finish doing that, or am I a little too far away?
It's not too much of a concern. Can you give me a survival roll as you make your way along?
Sure. Yes.
Hell yes. You pick your way through
Yes, I can.
with your equipment shouldered and your parachute packed back down, winding through these the trees and then occasional sort of like dotted scrublands with large rocks and sparse grass. Eventually, you get up along the road and you will just see Sam and Minnie as they are pushing the flying machine down into a sort of small ditch and then beginning to throw like thrushes and things, reeds, wouldn't be reeds here, across it to obscure it from the sky and also from anything that were moving along the road. You can reconvene with the other two with limited issues. It is now only Hubert that we are missing. But you see the other two and you can approach.
That was easy.
It was.
I guess that's what an extreme success and a successful landing gets you. Just, hello. Right. I'm glad to see both of you are all right. Miss Sinclair, you look a little tousled. Did you manage your landing all right? Remind me we need to go over parachute exits at some point next time we're back for training. Well,
Look, we're all in one piece.
Where's Mr. Smith?
Lost sight of him, to be honest, before we even landed.
Right.
But, I'm sure he's all right. It was his idea. This whole thing was his idea, so he can't have done too badly.
That's not. We hid the plane just back there. It's well hidden. I figured it was best to keep it away from the volcano in any case.
Well, potentially. We did see that entrance that seems to be accessible by flying craft.
You didn't spot the entrance, but you spotted
where we
the
saw something.
approximate
We know
region.
what side it's on.
Yes, that's right.
The implication was like there was something that was flying and then got inside the volcano.
Exactly
so
right.
that's
exactly right.
So there is a chance that we could get the machine inside, although depending on what kind of craft they're using. Actually, that's a thought. Sam, perhaps if and as we're thinking ahead a little, once we're in this volcano, if we need a quick exit, why don't we see if we can find one of those crafts? You're a very good pilot. I suspect you might be able to up and out us from there if necessary.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you find some interesting and, dare I say, alien modifications you can make to your own vessel to keep it moving a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, I'll keep it in mind. The thing I'd caution about is it's a very different skill is flying an aircraft and landing it. So, look, yeah, I'm confident I could probably jump into one of those and get it into the air. It's knowing the tricks about how to get it back down again that I'd be worried about. But, keep an open mind.
Sam,
worst case scenario, we all know how to bail out now.
That's true. Just need a couple
and I do have utmost confidence in your ability to pick things up like that, Sam. You are very good at being interested in things. It served you well.
Thank you very much.
So I guess the question is, what now? Do we try and find Mr. Smith? I don't see Lancet around anywhere.
I suspect we probably should. I really think we should.
He's looking for him. I reckon.
Right.
I reckon he's going to be going toward the camp, and so if we go towards the camp, we got the best chance of running into him.
Quick timeout from character chat. I know 2 weeks ago we did discuss what we were doing, and I can't remember if it was we were going back to Olafsvik or we were going to the volcano directly.
Oh,
yeah.
The whole thing was sort of screamed over the sound of engines, and then let's get out of this goddamn plane.
Okay.
I think the idea was, I mean, the volcano is the ultimate objective, right? You believe there to be a facility underneath it, whether you go.
I don't know why we're going to go back to a town that's got a giant troll in it. So
well, I mean, the camp is where we've got resources to find. Is where we're expecting to find help.
I think we don't. I think we just go straight to the volcano.
I think volcano is the best.
I think
option.
volcano. We know there is a big ass troll in the camp.
It's true. Let's go.
Well,
we don't know.
In that case, I suspect we didn't actually determine where we were going when we were yelling in the 2 minutes. So with that in mind, I think perhaps we try and find Mr. Smith on the off chance. I mean, if we go to the direction of the town, the village, and Hubert decides to go to the volcano, or vice versa, we are absolutely going to miss one another unless we want to make an awful lot of noise, which, given the size of that creature that we saw, I suspect its ears are equally large and capable of hearing, unless it has rocks for brains, which is a possibility given its troll.
All right, well, look, Lance has got the mission to try to get Hubert back to us. So all Lance has got to do is go and find Hubert. Once he's found Hubert, he's got to come back and find us. And then once he knows where the two groups are, he's going to work to bring us together. So that's all we can do for now, I reckon.
Well, then, is there anything we can do in the interim? Reconnaissance? Is there additional things we can try to achieve? We can either actively try and find Hubert and meet him in the middle somewhere before heading wherever we're heading, or we can take this time to plan.
Yeah, well, let's take a few minutes to think about it. Say, I wonder what Hubert's doing now.
I really felt like, Jackson, you were trying to throw to me again and again and again.
3 hours later.
That's what I do when I'm role-playing. As soon as I run out of ideas.
Just chuck it to someone else.
GM, can you talk to someone else for a bit?
Elsewhere and stuck up a tree. So, Hubert, as you go to spiraling down
stuck
through
up
the
a tree
air,
or stuck on a tree?
Up one for the time being, at least, unless something else goes poorly. You go tumbling down through the air, sort of rolling over, completely losing track of where you are, eventually making a rip for the cord, tugging it and feeling the jerk as the parachute takes flight. Behind you, it slows your descent rapidly, and then cast by the winds, you will get sort of heaved across and deeper into the center of the peninsula before getting tangled up in one of the trees, similar to how Mimi was grabbed. There's no sign of the others, and by the time you regain your senses, looking up towards the skies, you just see a cloudy night. No sign of Dr. Sam and his flying machine, although you are aware of the direction you were all headed. There's just you just don't have an inkling of where they are.
I will hang from my parachute cords for a few seconds to catch my breath and start to struggle out of it and get down.
Okay. Do you want to try and salvage this parachute? Do you want to just hit the thing and drop down? Do you want to try and clamber down the tree? What's your...
I personally blame this parachute for the situation that I'm in. I'm not going to try and salvage it. I just want to get out of here and drop.
Okay. Do you want to give me a jump roll?
You know what? I look down, I judge the distance, and... screw it, I jump.
Okay. All right. Well done. Yeah, you're able to sort of like swing yourself back and forth. There's a wrench as a couple of the branches drop and you lower a little bit further. And then scrambling out of the harness, you throw yourself at one of the branches, hit it a bit, slow your descent, and land on the ground without taking any damage. Your thick overcoat is scratched a little bit, and the parachute is still hanging in the tree. You can see the harness sort of dangling a little bit up there. From here, what is your plan?
I'll get my bearings a little bit. I'll look around. I realize that I'm alone in the middle of a strange environment. Never to fear. This is what I'm built for. When everybody else was chatting, I was thinking at the start and getting a plan together. I decided I was going to head straight to the volcano, and someone said we were going to the town. And I went, I guess we went to the town. I was debating whether or not I'd sort of throw a spatter in the works by staying true to my original idea. I just go into the volcano. I'm glad to know that that is now potentially an option. I am a pretty good navigator. I've got a lie of the land from having bird's eye in. Hopefully, I would like to turn towards that volcano, cross-reference it with my map. I want to head in that direction, looking for a high-up area or somewhere where I can sort of reconvene with the others from.
All right. Do you pause to get a nice big stick to walk with and whack with?
Did I get my hiking stick with me in my standard gear?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
For sure.
All right. No badges here, I assume, but I'll start heading along.
Yeah, for sure. This is kind of Hubert in his element, the solo... I think you've done a lot of these sort of hikes, right? I mean, what do you look like when you're, this is, playing to your strengths?
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that I walk forward, then sort of stop and make a bunch of weird modifications to my backpack, in that I have to have just these pockets open just a certain amount, and I have to have this like that, and I adjust all my clothes, get my little hiking thing, make sure that the badges and little bits of mementos that I have from my various hikes are hanging just so. And then I start to stride forward, softly humming a kind of tuneless bop, 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 to myself as I head forward.
There's a real peace to the area. I mean, this region's fairly uninhabited at the best of times with how sort of sparsely spread the villages are, but with them now mostly abandoned and with the quiet of night setting in, you truly do feel sort of alone in the world in the best sort of sense. Go ahead, Jim.
But not entirely, as we have established. I've got a pretty high ride skill, and you said the word reindeer earlier. I'm not letting that go unpunished. Can I see them? It's my highest skill.
It absolutely is. After a short period of hiking, heading down. So first of all, what I'm going to get you to do is give me, we don't need a navigation roll yet because you're basically just going that away, but give me a survival roll as you trek along through the night. And you can just actually straight roll, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Survival, all fine.
Yeah, well done. Very much in your element. You sort of, shoes are tightly tied. And as you're heading along, at one point when you're in a slightly raised area, sort of moving along through some scraggly rock, just pausing to take a small drink of water, you will see brush moving. You've spotted evidence of a few creatures fleeing throughout your hike, and just as this is happening, you will sense the sort of not full stampede, but moving herd of reindeer that begin to move through the underbrush and then out into this clear area, not really pausing to eat or observe and making a fairly direct path towards the inland. There would be about, I don't know how, I think they're moving like herds of like 18, 20 more. Like it's quite a large number of them.
Right. Well, I don't have animal handling as a specialized skill, so I'm not exactly going to be able to tame one of these things. I do have ride if I got like some kind of hard ride check. It's a situation where I can burst out of the underbrush like some kind of strange Icelandic tiger and sprint across, try and get onto one of them and hold on long enough until it lets me ride it into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, you can just grapple the thing, get on it, and then point it in the direction you want to go and refuse to let it go anywhere else. You will have no control of this animal. It will be terrified the entire process. But yeah, absolutely.
That sounds great. Let's go with that.
All right, so do you want to try and give you a stealth roll to get close enough to one of them, and then it'll probably like jump, or probably fighting brawl actually, to effectively make a maneuver to position yourself on the beast.
Okay. All right. I'll watch them for a bit. Majestic creatures. I think of myself riding a reindeer. I regret very strongly that I didn't bring some kind of Santa Claus outfit.
I was like
and
tactical
I'll try and sneak
harness.
up close. Yeah. The rolls couldn't hold out.
Oh, well, no, I think you try and get closer, and then once they spot you, do you just go for screw it and run at them?
Yep, I'll go for a sprint. I'll just try and make it.
And in a flat run, you try and close the distance. They immediately start. These things were on edge already, and a stampede begins to erupt as they herd around the rocks and make for the trees on the other side. A couple of them are stragglers, though, and as you get yourself in towards the center of them, one of them is suddenly rushing headlong towards you. Its head lowers, the antlers, these huge structures around its head, lower down and begins to charge towards you. You set yourself, raise your arms, and attempt to wrestle the creature and get on its back. Go ahead and give me a fighting maneuver. So this will be brawl, and I think size-wise, these things are going to be reasonably big, but your ability...
My pulp talent might fit in,
absolutely.
Hopefully. I'm big enough,
well,
yeah.
Let me see what's comparative. I mean, horse is reasonably similar. What have we got in the old...
Reindeer are huge.
Yeah, I'm thinking sort of meese
Aren't they?
size. They're freaking massive. I mean, horses are pretty big too. So, I mean, a horse is build 4. So we'll go with horse statistically. That works pretty well, and that's also your objective with it. So you'll side on one. What is your build?
My build is 2,
Okay.
And with my pulp talent, it goes to 3.
So you will have 1 penalty dice on the attempt of this maneuver.
Okay. As this thing bears down on me, I think for a minute I might have got myself out of my depth. And I grab it. I
well done.
land it.
Right, hang on, I'm going to have it try and clobber you. Give me a vote. Horse. Got
a couple of them hanging around.
Yeah, I do have one. Beauty
Horse.
Just quietly rename that to reindeer. Okay, it's going to try and fight you.
Please don't.
Oh, sorry, Wizard Kitten mode. Get rid of that. Yeah. No, okay, that's a fumble.
That is a
It
fumble.
lowers its head towards you. You sort of start one time, and then you catch it. There's an explosion of dust around you as this thing stops completely. You catch its horns. It sort of tries to lower itself again. You heave it backwards, and then suddenly letting go of one of the antlers, it spins around. You're able to hoist yourself onto its back, and then grabbing the other one, it rears into the ground. And for a moment, as Dr. Sam's going, I wonder what Hubert's doing. There's a flash of you in this clearing, the reindeer rearing up into the sky as you hold on, your hat, I presume you've got a hat sort of waving in the wind, and then it hits down, and for a moment at least, this thing is stampeding along with the others until you throw your weight to one side and begin to move it, not headed away from the volcano, but straight towards it, fighting every natural instinct this beast has as it thunders towards the underbrush. Go ahead and give me a ride roll, Huberto.
Amazing.
This is going to be hard.
I'm trying to think of what the Icelandic suffix for names is and add it to Hubert, but I can't. I'm too busy concentrating and getting an extreme success on a right check.
Oh no!
I have a feeling that this is what it would look like if Gimli tried to replicate what Aragorn does with that horse. Not Aragorn, what Legolas does with the horse.
100%. You just throw your weight to one side, and this thing sort of scrambles around, and soon you've got it wheeling around away from its herd and towards the underbrush, thundering along as you go through huge strides. If this is using a horse's statistics, which it is because that's what I'm doing, it's pretty quick. And you are now moving through the trees. And also with it being naturally suited to this region, you're making much more progress than you would have ever expected to on your own 2 feet. This is Hubert. It is Elevate, baby. And as you go racing along, soon you will also spot carving through the skies Lancet, who is still a distance away, but because you are able to sort of meet it midway through, will dive down towards you and then immediately clip back up and begin to lead you in the approximate direction of the others, which is only medium helpful because it's exactly the way you were going already. But you know, it's nice to have. You thunderboard through this. It is going to take you a little while, and this creature sort of, frothing and moving at speed. I will begin to tire a little bit, but you're able to control it, and you've got a pretty good sense for how hard you can push it. After about, it'd be sort of like a half an hour, getting towards an hour or so, the creature begins to, you've kind of got it. I mean, the thing's terrified, confused, and just generally perplexed as to what is happening. It begins to get skittish again, more so than you were. It's sort of bucking a little bit and trying to fight your control more so. You have extreme success, you've got it, but it seems to be really resisting it for a moment. And then you sense what you couldn't see at first. As you were racing along through the trees, you kind of weren't able to focus on them, but now you can see that there's actually a shake going through a number of them. And then you realize that there is actually a tremor moving through this whole region. I'm going to widen this out to everyone now, as the three of you, having packed up the flying machine off towards the side and then beginning to head either further along the road or just repositioning to try and find Hubert, you all begin to sense a tremor moving through the area that strengthens, and then suddenly you will all spot at different points there are cracks that begin to widen slightly, and there's sort of gushes of not magma yet at least, but steam and sort of ash just up into the air, rising and in hot gouts that Hubert, you are now winding your way around and through. This will last for about 10 minutes or so as they erupt from the ground in different periods. But then they will eventually settle once more. Minnie, with your research of what you've done previously, this is effectively the volcano getting closer and closer to eruption. You probably actually, Minnie, can you give me actually anyone can do this. This is going to be a natural world test.
Oh, could I please make it a educational library use, given that that's how I would have found the information?
No, but I will say you can take a bonus dice because of the books you brought with you. It's still going to be natural world to understand it and then put it together, but you can...
No.
It's all good. Dr. Sam's got it.
How did you go, Hubert? Any other, Sarah?
Unfortunately, I failed. So
okay.
I'm a little preoccupied. I think I'm probably dodging in between vents of steam on reindeer back.
I think I'll be able to feel the tremors.
So,
from
Minnie,
this giant
yes,
animal.
you'll
Do
see
we all
you'll
have
see
to
the
roll?
steam coming up. No, you don't have to roll. It's all
Okay,
good.
because I'm his base and I don't want to risk a fumble.
But you might
Totally
get a
fair.
tick.
Totally fair.
Much more likely to get a success than a fumble, and then you get a little tick. Chance of
So,
improvement.
Minnie, you do have a look through, and what throws you is that the timing is not lining up. This is sort of closer to the eruption period, and Dr. Sam, what you will realize with a hard success, what you will realize with a regular success as well, is that this is outpacing natural events. Based on this, you would expect that the volcano is within sort of a fairly close, it'd be sort of like hours to maybe like half a day or so from beginning to erupt. And this is not what you were told upon landing. And although there were earth tremors and earthquakes and things throughout the region, they were not actually throwing steam and things into the air. It looks like things have been somehow accelerated.
We did get the info from last session that a catalyst might set it off. Otherwise, it'll take some time. So
That's
the implication, I think,
Is
then
something is starting
appears
to,
to
yeah.
be, something appears to be starting.
Well, yeah.
There's still a few more like boxes to tick through. Like you'll expect to actually see like much larger gaps beginning to open up and actually seeing evidence of magma before the volcano itself will erupt, which you haven't seen yet. But it appears that things are moving quickly ahead. Now, Hubert, on horseback and with an extreme success. Sorry, yep, go ahead.
Reindeer back.
Reindeer back, thank you. On reindeer back and with an extreme success, there's no sense to drag this out much more than it needs to be, unless the other three made strides. Even heading up along the road, Hubert will probably fairly quickly rendezvous with the others, and especially with Lancet able to, once you get closer, dart ahead and be spotted in the skies wheeling around. We will say that after it's probably like 2 or 3 hours that everyone sort of spends finding one another, all four of you will reconvene along the road and not too far from either the volcano or the other closest villages. Jim?
If I can have a moment, that upon seeing the others, I come over a hill, I'll charge down on the reindeer towards them and then pull it to a halt, slide off it, still holding a horn, and then go, "You've done well, Bjorn," and throw it away so it then turns. So kind of dust my hands off and come back.
Hi.
Right. Hello. Yes, sorry. We've made it. We're good. We're closer. This steam doesn't look good. Is that a sign that it's going to erupt, or is that normal here?
Was that a reindeer?
Ah, yeah, Bjorn. We're old friends.
That is implausible.
I'm assuming old by about 2 hours.
Longer than a lot of my friendships last with animals. I hate that
That's true.
stupid hamster.
No, that's a shame.
I don't hate it. It's just relationships are more work than you ever expect them to be. But anyway.
That is something I'm going to file away for when we're back in New York, if we don't get melted by an erupting volcano first.
So,
which I believe is what this is, yes.
and time limit seems like it might be playing more of a factor than we anticipated.
Yes,
true.
quite, let's go.
Yeah,
Yes,
nope,
it wouldn't be the first time Gertusius gave us half-baked information to get us half-baked. That was terrible. All right.
Real bad.
I gotta say,
Marshall?
it does. I'd have to concede, it doesn't look like we'll have a chance to have a look around the camp after all.
No, although I don't know that there was anything in Osvik that was of any particular interest. So,
you know what occurs to me very quickly, and let's start walking though, as we'll start
To
hiking
the
up towards
volcano.
yes.
Yeah.
To the
So
volcano.
you were pretty much immediately heading off the other side of this road and straight up through, forest and rocks and similar
We're
nonsense.
aiming for the area where that entrance, because we haven't seen any other obvious entrances. So I would say we would head in that direction, whether or not we choose immediately to go to that if we find it, or we do like general looking around for
100%.
other entrances. But that is the general direction we are
It's
traveling
basically
in at the
Full
moment.
mountain. So if you canvas the whole area
Yeah.
in the dark, it's pretty impossible. So yeah, heading in that direction makes sense. Okay.
I don't think we want to take the time to go on a scenic stroll as soon as the ground starts breaking open and steam jettisons out. I think that there is probably important stuff at the village that could help us, but prioritizing at this point. I want to say quickly, just a thought. Is it possible that the trolls are fleeing the volcano eruption as well?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I wonder how they might just be. They've been here for a very long time. It may just be part of their life.
We talked about it, didn't we? Say it's a chance that the trolls are made by the Serpent people.
They are made by the Serpent.
They're
also meant to be docile, which
And
sounds
and small.
so either
big.
that wasn't a troll and we're dealing with something else, or they kept a very firm hand on their herd and culled any at certain points. I suspect if they were used predominantly as fodder, they wouldn't have lasted very long. So perhaps this is one that's just been left alone for long enough to actually survive. But regardless,
or they're using it to, move people on, so no one interferes with whatever they're doing up there.
Maybe they have different kinds of trolls. They have fodder trolls, and then they have whatever the fuck that was.
Potentially, though, this was meant to be an abandoned facility. That's an abandoned facility not in use by the Inner Night, and it sounds like the Inner Night are the ones that have come on down here. So currently with that, I'm leaning more towards if you leave a troll alone for, well, however long this place has been abandoned, they get rather big hungry and perhaps a little touchy. But perhaps the Inner Night has managed to find a way to mutate them. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Keeper, but the implication was that we were trying to find this place at the same time that the Inner Night were. That it wasn't actually being used, at least as far as we were told by Caduceus. You know,
they have evidence of Inner Night activity in the region. Yeah.
All right. Well, regardless, I'm going to have to keep an eye on those things and assume that they are neither small nor docile, and if we do find a smaller one, assume it's not docile until it proves itself to be. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Whenever the phrase mutated troll is not the biggest problem that you have to be dealing with, you know you're in a bad moment.
Yeah, in a bad place.
I mean, I don't know which I'd prefer, mutated troll or volcanic eruption, but
I take the troll personally.
Well, yes. I think I would as well. Although burnt alive or torn limb from limb, I don't actually know which would be worse.
I can fight a troll, or I can try. I cannot fight a volcano.
You can run away from a volcano.
Ooh.
It doesn't have legs.
Yes, but
it does have roots. It doesn't have legs.
Magma you think is going to move slowly because it's like syrupy. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's quite quick, actually. I don't think I can outrun it.
Well, I guess let's try and do just that and go faster. We have to outrun this eruption.
I think
we're running towards it.
I suspect we'll have answers to all of these questions by the mission's end.
Okay, well then, in which case I pick the volcano. So if a circumstance arises in which I have to step in front of magma, I will do it, but all of you have to step in front of the troll.
Well, we've already done that and come out quite okay, so, you know.
All right, well, I still think I'm getting the longer end of the stick, but sure, let's get up this, let's try and get to this. Anyway, let's get moving.
Let's see if we can find that potential entrance or whatever it was we saw, and then we'll work from there. If that is used for flying vehicles and is just a pit straight into the earth, that's going to hurt rather a lot to drop into, so we might need to find something else. But at least let's try and find some indication of where this facility might be and then work from there.
Dave, one last thing very quickly. I don't entirely know how volcanoes work, and I am pretty sure that...
Did you never do the bicarbon vinegar thing when you were in primary school, Jim?
Yeah.
That's how they work. It's just bicarbon vinegar and red dye. You're fine.
Yeah,
just wait until you see the really big hand come down and start pouring. That's when you want to run.
Mentos? Come on.
I'm picturing like a big mountain that just has a hole in it that goes straight down, and then at the bottom there's lava. And I'm like, that doesn't sound. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. And I vaguely remember, no, there's not a big lava lake. That never happens. Pressure and XYZ. And
I think the lava's way further below, and I think the roof can be sealed. Basically, it'll just pop the old top off when it wants to have a bit of an erupt.
Yeah, it has a caldera as the top part of the volcano, and if it's sealed, that'll break, and then lava because pressure, and then pew.
So the magma, because it's called magma when it's underground, it's still way underground. It's not anywhere near the surface.
It's not like the Lord of the Rings magma lake.
Yeah, but when it's coming up, we know where it's coming up, and it comes up through the volcano.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, so just clarify.
But also through these cracks, by the way.
Also fair to like, when this erupts, there's going to be a shitload of ash, among other things, in the sky. A aerial escape is not something we want to try and be doing after an explosion has occurred and an eruption has occurred. That is deeply a problem.
If the four of you hadn't previously outflown / outran a half-terrain device, which is functionally an explosion of Cthulhu, you would be really concerned. As it is, you are fairly concerned, but you are kind of like, we've been in weirdly kind of a similar situation. And magma is probably slower than the explosion of a
We are definitely using real-world logic for Indiana Jones, and we shouldn't. We should just be being like, it's fine.
I'd still be concerned. It's a similar scale.
It's a good point that volcanic ash will absolutely mess up any aircraft that flies through it. Even when the ash is so thin you can't see it. It'll still cause a problem just having it in the air.
That's interesting.
Well, I feel like, again, pulp rules, probably not. Pulp rules is like, if you can see it, it's a problem. If you can't, well done. Well done.
There's no such thing as invisible.
We fixed it.
All right.
One more important fact, popping your top off when you're ready to erupt sounds like you're a frat bro on like a college trip to Europe. Who's ready for party? Something like that. So I've got this.
I like that that's where Jim went.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, that's a lot less filthy than I was expecting. Right?
Yeah. You can say I just pictured the volcano with a backwards cap on, who's really pleased to be in Ibiza.
Bro, let's party.
Let's fucking go. It's Sven. Yeah. Okay. So the four of you have stowed the flying machine, and Bjorn the reindeer has head back to find its comrades once again. You head up the other side of the road, and now moving along some of the rocks, begin to pick your way deeper into the woods and up the mountain. It quickly turns into like scrambling up hills and things, and it's sort of, exhausting calf burning exercise. What is the mode of marching order functionally? Is anyone
feet.
Exactly.
Our mode of transport is feet.
No one's gonna
until they
piggyback
get burnt
to make
off,
it easy peasy?
in which case it'll be stumps.
Yeah. Is anyone scouting ahead? Are you staying in a tight group? Are you spreading out? Are you moving silently and slowly? Are you charging up the mountain, yelling and whooping?
We got a bird to keep eye out for danger up ahead.
I'm guessing it's our good lieutenant at the front.
Okay.
Yeah, I think tactically, kind of like moving quickly and efficiently. We've got the bird to scout, so we're not super stealth. We're just like quick progress, go directly.
Okay.
I do think we're all working together, because Hubert is the consummate survivalist. Yeah. I am good with just general like keeping an eye on things. Miss Sinclair is incredibly good at
stealthy.
And Sam has the bird, so it's a combination of
Sam himself is a bit of a lost cause, but the bird.
That's fine. Yeah.
Wait,
do you have natural world or survival or like bush bashing or stealth
who's rolled 2 natural word successes this chapter so far?
Yeah, that's true.
This guy.
The big guy.
This guy. Well, in that case, natural world.
And the first one was to say magma is when it's underground.
Well, in that case, like looking for interesting natural world things that might indicate some kind of entrance. But I suspect we're all doing our part and staying relatively like within range of each other. I think the only person who would scout ahead is Miss Sinclair because of stealth.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we want to be doing that until we get closer to where we expect to be.
I think it's better together for a while, and then if we hit a point where we think, okay, we need a bit of intel.
just to confirm, none of us were sitting in the plane with Sam because, if I remember correctly, we'd put supplies in that spare seat.
Yeah.
So when we all
and Sam and I did take some.
Yeah, you've got
I'm
some food for a couple of days and some ammunition and things. But again, you guys took off before getting any special equipment from Katasea, so there's no cool tech or anything. It's basically
need a luck check.
You've got some rope.
Yeah, that's fine.
And a
did we? Yeah, it's climbing kittens and rope. Yeah,
probably as far.
And
as
I know we sent Gunhilda off to make excuses and then come back.
But she told you she's probably going to get pinned on the ground for a while.
Which I think is.
But honestly, by your current
but
timeline, you think this thing will probably erupt before she comes back.
Again, I don't remember exactly because I'd have to go back and watch the episode. But I'm going to work on the basis that what we were asking her to do is extraction. More than anything, I think she wants to help us.
Try and come back as soon as possible. She also wants to come back. She intends to come back to visit her brother. That was the other reason you were talking about going to AEST probably was because her brother was there and she wanted to check in on him.
I think we're a little bit time poor.
Well, if the volcano erupts and floods him with magma, he will for sure be dead. So, maybe it's all priorities, right? Okay, so as you're going up, one thing that I'll also ask you to do is, Hubert, can you give me a navigation roll? As at a short point, you probably stop down in one of the clearings, and Minnie and Carter, because you kind of saw where that thing went down, Hubert, you get a map out with sort of what's it called, with the lines that show height on it.
Hubert knows. I don't.
Elevation.
No. Contours.
Contour.
Lines.
You have a contoured map of the volcano, and Hubert can begin to run a finger along them and try and pin where it might have descended to see if you can get a location, an exact target. Hubert, this will be a navigation roll. You can take a bonus dice from Carter and Minnie, effectively. However, I'm just telling you, this is going to begin at hard and extreme as your real target. This is quite hard.
Doesn't Sam have quite good navigate?
Oh, whichever one you want. Sorry, I thought Hubert was your best navigate boy.
I don't remember.
72.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well,
okay?
it's an elevated map, so of course you're going to be better, Mr. Pilot. All right, I'll help you with the bonus die.
Don't worry, Hubert. I'll take the map.
Okay, cool. I think that blue part is the land.
Yeah, because I know I have decent navigate, but I think Sam's is a bit better.
Dealer's choice then. Whoever wants to roll it, and you can take a bonus dice because Carter and Minnie have spotted the.
Good thing I got it.
Can we straight up work together? Can I throw in
this
another
is
one?
This is you all putting your head together at this point. Okay.
So it looks like a failure.
It does.
Even with the bonus die.
It's a lot like a failure.
Push it. Push.
Push it. What's pushing it?
Pushing it is probably finding you think you might spot it and taking a riskier path. So, skirting through, you see a section of thicker brush and you're I actually think this is obscuring this looks really steep, but actually the evidence of plant life here suggests that it might be traversable.
We'll go up it's actually an error with the map.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Please.
Matt, what if we find a tunnel in that area, but if we fail it, we're not entirely sure if the vent that we're going into is just one of those steam vents,
straight in the map.
And we could get blasted with superheated steam as we head through.
I look at the map and I think I found the shortcut, whatever that shortcut is.
Go for it. Go ahead
and we'll find out. And depending on the roll, it's actually a shortcut.
This begins at hard.
Keeper's
begins at hard?
Begins at hard.
You did say that, and I wasn't worried about it because Hubert was rolling, and how I'm rolling now, I'm worried about it.
That's your problem. It'll be cool, though.
36. I mean, 4 rolls.
You rolled a 9 and an 8, so up for grabs there's a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3. Those would all be successes. 4, 5, 6, 7, so 50-50.
But nothing bad happened. Does something... Do I get the consequences of a push if I get a regular success?
Yeah, well, you think you... Yeah.
That's absurd.
A regular success is a failure in this.
That's absurd.
Yeah, so we can just fail and
you don't really have a direction of you're kind of just you're going for it. You're getting no bonus here yet. You're not getting any insight.
I mean, let's do it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
We all die.
We fall into the volcano.
Okay, go ahead and roll that again, and you still have your bonus dice.
Well, no, the worst thing that happens is everyone blames me. So if everyone promises not to do that, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay, well done. Champion.
Don't even need the bonus.
Remember again,
but
the
just
extreme. You probably want extreme. Extreme.
Just for you, Dave, here's the extreme you wanted. Okay, never mind. It's a heart. It's a heart.
been cool.
It's a heart.
We get a heart though.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you are able to pin the location where you believe it went down. It's quite high up. This is going to take you pretty much the night of trekking to get up there, but you're going in the approximate direction, and you do see, kind of like you might have been suggesting, there does appear to be a vent or something in that area, or a suggestion of one where the sort of contours move away from it. It is also completely obfuscated by tree line, and there's even a section where the rock juts out a bit. This would be almost impossible to find from anywhere but the sky, and nothing would really fly over it easily, so it's pretty well hidden. With that, Sam, you can plot an approximate course that will take you through a couple of winding sections. Keep it as easy as possible. You can fold the map up and you can all head out. Unless there's anything further anyone wants to clarify, I'm going to ask, as you head out, everyone to give me a constitution roll for the travel, as it also sort of moves forward and into longer term, pushing through the night.
Is there any kind of pulp talent
Phew.
I might have that could help me with this constitution
Yeah, I
roll?
think you might. I think you might have a cool one that gives you a bonus dice.
Oh, cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, actually,
Champion.
you know what? I don't think I'll need it.
I'm never going to roll it. I don't want it. Nice, well done.
I think that's everyone.
Is that everyone? Okay, so on the failure, it is going to be a D4 of damage, just
I can
from
take that.
extended sort of hiking, pushing through, and the cold beginning to set in. It's also just exhaustion, as your eyes are getting sleepy, and you keep on stubbing your damn toe.
Sacrificed 10 points of luck at the altar of the keeper.
Noted.
So I do not have to get closer to being at half health, which is what I'm currently sitting not that far above. So
Okay. All right, I will add it to my growing pool. Oof.
I'll
Sam's
take
tuck it out.
4. That's not
And
great.
Minnie, you succeeded. Okay, so Minnie and Hubert are doing. Hubert's doing very well. Again, completely in your element. A lovely night stroll. How could this get any better? Minnie and Carter are pushing through, and Sam, you are beginning to just struggle a bit. Between the plane going down, you've been fairly bit stressed.
Yeah.
It was all a bit rocky, and you're now just completely exhausted. You all rise up and begin to travel through steeper sections. The woods around here are beginning to grow sparser as you get higher up, and cover is becoming harder and harder to find. Additionally, the complete absence of insects or birds of any kind is giving the whole thing a sort of an uneasy atmosphere. You also stop a couple times because cloud cover will move slightly, and you think you'll see one of those shining stars or something moving through the sky once more, but every time you pause to inspect it closer, there's no evidence of one moving. You've traveled for a few hours now, and you're beginning to get into steep climbing. At one point, you are standing at the base of a larger rock and taking turns for Minnie to sort of scurry up and lower a rock or something, then Hubert to hoist people, moving as strategically as you can. And just as you're getting to the highest point, can I get everyone to please make a listen roll?
Not good at that.
I almost said, what did you say as a joke? But I was worried that it made me fail the
I can
actual
do
roll.
penalty dice.
Yeah.
I got a success on a 17
Well done,
on
you
the
can take that.
base.
Oh,
So
nice.
I would like everything you can give me.
So actually, this actually tracks. I think if
I have
Minnie's the
also
one that
succeeded,
goes up
so.
to the top and lowers a rope, and Hubert's hoisting people, you don't hear it.
Yeah.
And Carter, as you're raised to the top, and Sam, is just as you're being moved up, you both hear something being carried on these sort of drifting winds. It's from further to the north. It'd be about midway down the volcano towards the road, and possibly up towards Olafsvik, and it's sort of a guttural sound that's being moved on the wind. At its lowest, there's a bass note that's thrumming through everything, and then up above it, there's a keening, almost whistling hum that's warbling along, and it's carrying along as if from a great distance. As you hear it, pick it up and begin to try and hone in on it, you will see one of these glowing spheres, and you're closer now, you can actually make out that it is perfectly spherical, rising up from the volcano in the distance of where you're heading, and it begins to move along through sort of half cloud cover and then actually descends not far from you, growing in size as it gets closer, just perspective, and then lowering down. You can see it is a perfect like glass sphere, illuminated from the inside so that you can't make out any detail. Like it just sort of glows as sort of a soft bluish light, and it is beginning to descend about half a mile or so to the north of you, going down into woods. Pausing here now and all at the highest point and looking out towards it, you think you can just make out a clearing and what looks like it might have movement inside. It's too far away to get any detail, but it seems that humming and guttural sound is coming from there.
So the humming wasn't coming from the aircraft, it was coming from
Its
the
destination.
Clearing. Okay.
That's good.
All right.
All we can do is get up closer and take a look, right?
Well,
Yep.
that depends. It's in the different direction to where we were going. We're going to the volcano, and this is separate to it.
It is a little bit out of the way.
I would
but if
agree
we-
that it's probably worth checking what on earth is going on.
If we can get a look, and if it tells us what exactly we're going to find up at the volcano, that's well worth it, I reckon.
Miss Sinclair,
I agree. Yes. Oh, yes. I shall.
we will get a little peel off in the direction of that, but give Miss Sinclair ample space to do her sneakery without
Yeah.
any of us fumbling and crashing around in the undergrowth.
Okay, so you do kind of have a vantage point of the situation. So you are looking down. It's in the distance though, like it's far enough away that any gunshots would be quite hard to hit from here, and you can't make out minute detail. Anyone could stay here and still see it and observe it, and this is also the path up, so you could hold this position. Otherwise, moving closer, it will probably be, I guess, as long as you don't get too close, it's all right, but
No.
that midway point, you're actually going down back into sort of forest and underbrush, and you actually won't be able to see it as clearly unless you get closer.
I'm
So who's
happy to get
approaching, who's
closer.
staying, and who's getting really close, like Minnie?
I'm getting real close.
Okay. Everyone else?
I want to be within defensible range if something goes wrong for Miss Sinclair, so I will get closer, but not. I have not terrible stealth, so I'll kind of maybe get as close as my stealth can get me, but with the idea of not necessarily getting so close I'm actively seen.
Without a roll, you can get to sort of like a mid-range. It means it's a little hard to see everything, but what you can do is charge forward to then get there if things kick off.
Can I give you a roll to see how close I get, as to like,
Sure.
if I fail, I'm at the midpoint. If I succeed, perhaps I get a little closer.
If you fail, you probably you do risk being seen at this point. Because you can get to the midpoint, this would be moving a little bit further forward.
All right, fair enough.
So
I will stay here for the moment then.
Okay, Hubert and Sam.
I would like to place myself far back enough that I don't mess up anything for anyone. I don't want to be close enough to accidentally stumble over my feet and break a stealth roll. I'm just gonna lean away.
Okay, so sort of a mid-range point as well.
Much the same for me, but so that I can bring people back to life if they die.
I think I'll actually hover a step even further back. If it's short, mid, long, put me at long, and maybe
Long
I'll
plus.
notice something else if something goes wrong in the outskirts.
Sure, I mean, you can. So Hubert will stay where you are pretty much, with the rope still descended and marking the direction further up. Also from here, you can still see the clearing. You're just far enough away that closing the distance would take you some time and a lot of scrambling. Carter, Sam, and Minnie all lower themselves down another side and begin to move through some of the tree line, getting closer. At the midway point, it's harder to see everything, but if you actually hear something, you'll be able to charge forward and close the distance. And then Minnie, with all lights doused, pulls up the hood on the jacket and then begins to move along through underbrush and then a short sprint through scrub, as you can now see the orb beginning to descend down into the clearing. Jim?
Can I just, while I'm here, so I'm doing something, can I reaffirm our supplies for a potential quick move?
Oh yeah, sure.
Get away from here. So I'm like taking the aim action again and again, except with helping.
You can also, actually, you can you're holding everyone's bags and things too, so they're not overburdened in this, and you're holding on to all the pieces. Yep, for sure.
You should never leave your bags unattended when you're traveling. We don't know if there's pickpockets or something.
When you get to the volcano, they're going to ask you if you left them unattended at any period, and then you won't be allowed on the plane.
Yeah.
Minnie, can you go ahead and give me a stealth test with 2 bonus dice
Sure.
for the darkness, everything, and then also for your feature?
Hard success.
Landed on the first one. Okay. You begin to move forward, and just as this thing begins to descend down, you can see there is a clearing amidst the trees, and hunched around it are a number of small silhouetted figures. At first, you can't make out much detail on them. They just seem like small, slightly furry, craggy rocks. But as this large sphere begins to descend down, and the thing is approximately the dimensions of Sam's flying machine without wings. You'd expect it sort of like single passenger if this is a device, and it soon proves itself to be. The glowing from it will cast light on the creatures sitting in the surrounds. There are 3 of them, and they are small. They'd be about a meter tall at the highest, and they look to be almost like boar-like snouts, but with no tusks, sparse hair dotted all around it, and thin, glistening pink eyes. Their mouths are open, and they have thick, heavy tongues that are doing this sort of rolling wave action as the sound comes from them. And then a second mouth, where like an Adam's apple might be, is wobbling, opening and closing, and it's providing the bass to the sound. They have squat, almost barrel-like torsos covered in thick fur, and their legs are almost frog-like, sitting squat on the ground in like a perfect squat. Their arms are very long, and at the furthest point, they turn into almost like whip-like. They have they have only like 3 fingers at the point that open and contract, waving a little bit in the wind. But where they connect to the torso, they thicken significantly, almost like tree trunk branches. To like the whole side of the torso is where it branches out from, and then becomes quite whip-like. And they're all sort of waving a little bit in the wind. You also spot that at the point where their heads connect to the torso, they have very thick collars attached around them, sealed at the back, and you can see there is something glowing slightly on them. The sphere descends down, and at its highest point begins to sort of and open out, and you can see in the center standing is what at first appears to be a slightly pudgy, almost clay-like human. They look to be a native to the region, very fair features and blonde hair. It's a man with sort of slightly weathered skin, possibly a fisherman with a lot of days out in the salt-stained seas. But they're thick around it, and all their fingers would be about twice the width of what you'd typically see. And as this creature lowers down, there's this really clear, uncanny valley sense about the whole thing. And when it raises a hand out towards all of them and its mouth opens and the hiss of narcal emanates from it, it's immediately, the illusion's kind of broken for you, and you can see that this is just some sort of second skin or overlayer from it. The whole thing is also wriggling slightly, like the face will occasionally like spasm into a sneer, which throws the whole thing off. I need Minnie to make a sanity roll, please.
If I pass it, can I make a knuckle roll?
You absolutely can. You probably make a knuckle roll regardless.
Oh, well, obviously that's not ideal.
No, that's not great.
You can spend 4 points
I can
of luck.
spend 4 points of luck to reduce the hit.
That is going to be, let me see what
You have to spend, whatever your hit is, you double the luck to halve
I'll do that.
It's depending on what it is.
I'll do that. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, I'll do that.
So on a fail,
I
that
mean, we've seen skinless wonders before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming the hit's not going to be the worst, but
it's going to be a D8 from the things on the ground and the one descending down from all of it. So I say,
Let's see what it is.
Additionally, Minnie, you took a reasonable hit last time as well.
I did.
And you have not had a chance to rest. Are we approaching your indefinite?
True.
Oh dear. Also, Skinless Wonder is the band that frat dude went to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I've seen that band from Mandy.
Yeah.
I mean, your indefinite at 90 is 18 in a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you're probably not closing. Although you presumably would have been even higher at the start of the day, because you must have already taken a pretty big hit.
I think it was a D. Well, so if you have a bout of madness that happens, I believe, I don't know how long because if you have a bout, you re-enter the bout.
It's an hour. You're outside of that window. It's only if you go to indefinite now.
one thing while you look at this, I'll just mention it because it's in the forefront of my mind.
Because this is important.
You do a great thing, Dave, where you are very good at describing Call of Cthulhu monsters in ways that is A, evocative, but B, doesn't necessarily give away exactly what they are. I've played a lot of Call of Cthulhu now, and I feel like I know most of the mythos, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't, and I don't know whether that is because it's something that I need to be really terrified of, or because you've just obfuscated the exact description.
These ones have more of a weird little guy vibe than super. They're not very big. These Mini, you would probably suspect, are the Vormi that you expect them to be, which are the smaller variation. This is not the huge monstrosity.
As soon as Dave was describing it, I was
before.
like, these are the actual trolls. These are the things that we were told about. That feels...
Okay, Mini, go ahead and roll the D8
I get my intelligence
anyway,
roll too, don't I?
Only if you're not going to have a bout unless you roll 5 or above on the D8.
Yeah.
So
Mini, I think you didn't reduce yours
Yes, you're
last
good.
time because you rolled for 90 previously. So I think your sanity is actually a little bit lower.
I just found it. Wilhelmina St. Clair. So this is when we saw the troll landing strip.
Last time.
Rolled 97 over 90.
Yes.
And then you lost 7. So you should be on 83.
Whatever it's
although
still
if that happened tonight, your max does not change. You're still at 18 in a day.
It's still 18,
because
that's
it
right.
happened at the same day. So you're still 18 for indefinite.
Okay, so
Yeah,
go ahead
so
and roll.
you need to roll 11 on a D8, which is impossible.
Yeah, so I'm not going insane.
Well, you might if you roll 5 or more, you might get about.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to reduce it.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll a D8 first of all, and we'll just see what the result is. Because it might just be a 1 and you go, I don't care. These are super ghosts. Okay, not too bad.
Yeah, we're good.
You can spend 6 luck to make that 2.
And I am going to because I've taken a few.
I don't think you necessarily. You
I
can.
don't think I need to. No,
I wouldn't stretch too much. You'll only make it reduce to 2 anyway. So go ahead and reduce to 3. So I think we can just do a little bit of quick reconciliation, which is always fun, cool, and good.
You're
so
on
the
80
last one,
now because it was 7 and 3. Yeah, you're on 80.
I'm at 80.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So that means you have taken 10 for today. So you are getting there. So go ahead and give me a Narcal roll now, Mini, as you listen in on this.
No.
Okay. What you do here?
Push it.
Not pushing the Narcal roll. I'm not leaning forward. I'm not giving up my stealth position. Oh, the other thing I was going to ask is these little guys, these weird little guys, are they like little versions of the big awful guy?
There's been some, yes, kind of. Okay. There's definitely been more adjustments made than it's not just
but it's the same
bigger,
basic
but
shape.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely there's similarities there. Absolutely. The other one you only ever saw in like flashes of like the light going across them. The other one also had a lot of like rocky portions. This one doesn't have that.
Okay.
So
and does it look like these have been modified more?
I mean, they're kind of strange-looking creatures from the beginning, but there's no clear signs of modification. Like there's no like visibly grafted points. You don't know necessarily what the base is, so you can't really tell from here.
Yeah, but they look like they're the same sort of species.
That's right. The 3 of these all look the same. Yeah, they look.
Yeah, and they have similarities to the big lad.
These are the trolls we were told about. The big lad is maybe something that was fucked with or it's a different thing entirely.
Or it's a thing that escaped and this is what they naturally do if they are not controlled.
So
they don't have the little glowy thing.
Even on a failure, Mini, you hear the word for human. It's the only word you'll recognize, though. And as the sphere opens out and this thing's hovering slightly along the ground, this sort of pudgy, clay-like looking man, they all warble, it speaks, and then suddenly you see one of the Vormi, the small creatures, lunge forward at the vehicle, get one of these whip-like hands over it before the person, barely flinching, turns, clenches a fist, hisses something again in Narcal, and suddenly there is a spasm that goes through the creature, all 3 of them, as they arch up to their full height, still only a meter and change, and then their bodies go rigid, their hands sort of like on a T-pose out, and then the very furthest point whipping quickly in the brace, you'll hear a a screech of pain from inside them, and then they collapse down towards the ground. And almost exactly as this is happening, unclear if it was triggered by it or if it's just a coincidence, another tremor begins to carve through the region, and this time you actually see a shift in stone as it breaks open at one point. A chasm opens, and one of the Vormi almost falls towards it. Actually does fall towards it and begins to skid along the ground, sort of almost going into it, still spasming as it gets closer. I need all 4 of you, no matter where you are, to make dexterity rolls as this happens, just to keep yourself out in the way. Hubert, you can go ahead and take a bonus dice because you were kind of positioning and keeping an eye on things.
Can I take a bonus dice because I'm well hidden and presumably holding on to stuff? No, okay, that's fair.
No, this is
Never
more
mind,
just keeping
I'm
yourself.
Never mind, be good.
Jim's sneaking in his luck roll while no one's looking.
Yeah, can you tell I failed because I also made the luck improvement check?
Okay, is that gonna be 2 points, Sam? Okay, perfect.
It is.
Jim, so it's not too significant. You can see it beginning to shift and shake, and from your higher point, Hubert, you will probably stumble backwards and tumble down a short section of the ground. You are only going to take a D4 of damage as you stumble away, but this time you can see the crack is quite wide, opened up. Minnie, you do grab onto something hidden where you are, and you can see one of the Vormi sort of stumbles forward. This thing continues to spasm, and then the creature unclenches its fist, hisses something again in Narcal, and the other ones sort of like are released from whatever pain was contorting them. What are you doing?
Okay, I would like to get back to Carter quite quickly because I think we have the opportunity to potentially free these 3 who might actually end up fucking shit up for the Narcal and basically causing a distraction for us. They clearly went for the ship. They're clearly not happy about what's going on. They're clearly being controlled by those little things around their necks. And I think if we can, with some sharpshooter skills, like if we can disrupt that, I think we can free a couple of these things and make some trouble for the skin on, skin off people.
Hell yeah. So as
that's what I'm going to do.
As this ravine sort of cuts along through it, directly underneath where the hovering orb is, one of them tumbles in, Minnie vanishes in the cloud of dust that it throws up and heads back towards Carter and Sam. Now, Hubert, that's a fair chunk of damage. I suspect, if you allow it, and you can reduce this by 1 because you all do have the cloaks, the coats and things, this might throw you actually honestly kind of more towards the others as you sort of like roll down the hill a little bit, and you will be able to, if you wish, convene with the 4 of you as you have a short and quick period.
I'm only going back to Carter.
Carter and Sam are together.
Sam came with Carter. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll fall towards the crew so that I can engage.
Perfect. All right, Minnie, you have a short period. You don't know what's going to happen next. What do you want to do?
There are 3 of those little trolls we were told about. They've got a thing around their necks that the skin people that the United are using to control them and to hurt them. One of them went for the ship, and they were basically electrocuted. It was terrible. It was awful to watch.
What do you want to do?
Carter, I think with your sharpshooter skills, you might be able to disrupt this thing that they've got. They've got like a big glowing thing at the back of these collars they're wearing. I think you might be able to disrupt it and free some of these things. And if you do that, I don't think they're going to take too kindly to the inner night. I think they might be able to cause some problems while we're doing this and just make it a bit easier for us to do what we need to do.
I'm not a tactician, but I think that those collars are probably easier to break apart with hands or tools than shoot. But whatever's in that...
We can try that first.
I was just about to ask, is it going to be easier to break them free if the thing controlling them is dead? And I would usually say yes. So how about I go and put a couple of bullets in the...
too.
Great.
But I'm just not sure. My only concern is I'm not sure how hardwired they are to just be hostile. And if we can do it without being seen by them as well, that might be ideal.
Good point.
If they're hostile, I think. I mean, I think you target the one in the ship and you'll sprint out once.
What you described to me, Miss Sinclair, is a control mechanism that is predominantly it uses Narcal. You speak Narcal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can replicate the sound that creature made, if they do come for us, we can hopefully stop them.
I can try. I'm not great at Narcal, but I can try.
If you've got a good ear on it, I trust... I can go for the colours and do my best. It is going to be easier to center mass. So
I think go for the go for the leader. The collars, Dr. Sam, you can try and repair them out, and I'll try to smack them out.
Yeah, as long as they let us get close enough.
Okay.
I'll hold one down for you.
Oh, thanks very much. That'd probably be helpful.
Let's do it.
I would like
I
to.
do think freeing them is a good idea. And then also, there's a ship down there, so if we get rid of the Inner Night fellow, we also have access to their ship.
Lovely.
Okay. Now it's a
Mr.
plan.
Smith, Sam, if you would be so kind as to hold here for a moment. Miss Sinclair, lead the way, and I would like to stealth forward with Miss Sinclair to see if I can get a shot on this.
But come down when you hear gunshots, because that's obviously,
That tends to be the
element of
go
surprise
signal.
on.
Okay. So Minnie and Carter, can you both... Minnie, you're good, actually. Carter, can you give me a stealth roll with a bonus dice as you just approach? Perfect. Minnie,
Success.
you're both able to get back to Minnie's position, and looking out, you can see the shaking has stopped. One of the Vormi is still down the chasm, and the other two have sort of shrunk back from the hovering sphere, now hemisphere, in the center, where the slightly clay-like human is pointing at the two of them. It hisses something again in Narcal, and then the sphere begins to close back up. Carter, can you please give me a sanity roll? And then we will go straight to initiative if you want to try and act.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
Nice.
just 1 point. And I will get you to make dexterity rolls, please.
Hard success.
Nice. Actually, go ahead and take a bonus dice because
Success.
you guys have a weapon primed.
We do.
Mm.
Still a hard success.
Okay, so
Regular
we've got...
success.
Was
But
it-
also I have my shadow trait, which is if unseen, I can make 2 surprise attacks before discovery.
Oh,
If I want
100%.
to.
That will absolutely apply. They don't know that you're there just yet. So it was a hard from Carter. Sam and Hubert, why don't you go ahead and roll as well, just so you can, because you immediately hear gunshots. This can
Oh,
enter
I
you
did.
inside.
I
Oh, you
assumed that
already-
was what we were doing. 36 is a regular success for me.
Okay.
Do they also get
Oh, do we
bonuses?
get the bonus
or no?
dice?
Sorry, that was just for the readied weapon, and because Carter
that
was getting a
case-
weapon out and basically prepared to fire.
Failures for Sam and Hubert, as usual.
Failures for Sam.
I noticed that your shoe was untied, and I bent down to do it, and you went, no, let me, and we did a little bit of that, before we...
Okay.
Bonk heads.
Absolutely, head-butted each other.
I'm just going to whisper my ones quickly. Okay, and okay. All right, Carter, you're going to be the first to act. What would you want to do? What would you like to do? The sphere is beginning to close up.
Great. Are they within point blank range or no?
Yes, you guys were able to get close.
Lovely. 3 shots. Center mass.
Bat. Okay,
Pop, pop, pop.
go for it. Go ahead and make your attacks.
All right. These are all with the semi-automatic. First attack.
Holy
Straight
shit.
success. 21 damage.
Hang on. It's dead.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, all right, it does. So it just stands up without a go, bam, right in the head of this thing. It just goes straight through the eye, careens backwards, and half in and out of the sphere. It is continuing to close as this thing is dragged up on the roof. Like it's stuck in the sun roof closing as it begins to close up, and it looks like it threatens to crush it. You have 2 more attacks if you want to take another pop at things.
Can I
Go.
No,
Can we try the collar thing?
Yeah, I was
You
going
can
to say
try
like
it.
if I,
I'm
will
going
be
to say,
firing on them.
yeah, I prefer. I think
Yeah, let's not.
it's going to be realistically, it's going to be an extreme to hit it. You're going to need, because you're hitting a small target and trying not to wound them.
Could you try and stop the ship from getting away? Could you try and hit it so that it like fumbles for a second and yeah?
I mean, I'd have to shoot it because this
I'd
is
rather not shoot
one of
This
the
is your
ship.
gun, yeah, not further out.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
not
shoot-
my
you
gun.
can shoot
Well,
the
that was
ship
the
and see
signal
what
for you
happens
guys to
as
come
well.
on down. So our pilot will be here momentarily. I was wondering what we could do is Minnie can run out and try and placate them in Narcle. We did just kill the thing hurting them, while Carter's got those 2 shots locked and loaded just in case they come for me.
It has to kind of be all part of the same
you can
attack, I
kind of keep-
assume. But
I'm all right with that, I think. So, Minnie,
Okay.
you're next anyway. So
Yeah,
Carter
that's what I
stands up,
figured.
fires off 1 shot, and then levels the others at the other 2 Vormi as you stand up, hands raised presumably. And what do you try to say?
Friend?
In Narcal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they have a word for friend?
Give me.
I don't know.
It's probably
Or
it's probably more
ally.
like.
More like ally, I suppose. Ally.
It's probably more like
Technically, it means enemy of
rude
your enemy,
or something.
but-
It probably means like same
That's
clutch
it.
of eggs.
Yeah, or like ally, or yeah.
There's a lot of words for
Aid.
like servant and but above
Yeah.
you and hierarchy.
But,
There's not
something
many
like
for
equal,
same.
equal ally. Same.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Conspirator, co-conspirator.
Conspirator,
That's good,
co-conspirator.
that's-
Yeah.
We are on the same.
Yeah, there's
we're on the
got to be a lot
conspiracy,
of
brother.
like
We're doing the
politics
same cool
conniving.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A plural of serpent people being a conspiracy of serpent persons is very good
Yeah.
too. I
That's
like that.
very good.
I
So what
like
this
the
is-
idea that their word for alliance is truce.
Yeah, truth.
Like, yeah,
It's
because it
temporary.
assumes a
It will
consistent
not
state
last.
of war.
Yeah.
Okay, so Minnie, what this is going to be is basically a combined charm and narcal roll, which means the lower
Okey-dokey.
of the two is your result. So effectively, this is factoring in your charm is higher, so
Yeah.
it's a straight narcal roll, and if this is also the charm getting through. So go ahead and make a narcal roll.
My knuckle is so low. Nah,
Oh, that is actually a
that's
fumble.
actually a fumble.
You come out, you say
No.
something in the
Can I
hiss.
push it?
Not on the fumble, unfortunately.
I know. I know.
And
It's like
as
a
you
cold kind of
say
thing for
it,
me. I don't open my mouth.
the two on the ground hunker down in terror, and they see you as again the certain person looks human as well, so they are
Yeah,
terrified
true.
of you as they hunker down, and one like puts one hand and begins to scurry away towards the ravine as they both back up, moving away from you. And as soon as there's sort of a gap, they'll turn and begin to try and move.
Is the ravine near me?
It's on the other. It's cutting. It goes you, them, the ravine. So they are
Can you
they are
try
back
and
up to
shoot
it.
the things off?
I mean, if they've turned around, I can try.
They're still facing us.
If they're leaving, if we've screwed the pooch on friendly,
Well,
or are these guys going to get here in time to maybe try and rustle them off?
They failed their roll, so actually,
Yeah.
Hubert, Sam,
We're
and
too
Hubert
slow.
will now charge on. You now do arrive. So Hubert and Sam rushed forward. If you just straight barrel in, you can arrive. But this is gonna be another two people rushing into the scene as well.
Yeah.
So what would the two of you like to do?
Yeah. I think, I mean, we got to get Sam into that ship.
yeah.
As
also, I feel
Hubert and
kind
Sam
of
do
weird about
rush in, you
shooting
do
the
see
fleeing
them
captives in the back.
as it like hits the guy at the top, and then squeezes it. He goes, "Whoa," and then it releases and closes, and then it tries it again, and then opens and closes,
I
unable to.
would
see it.
like to try and
I
yell
will get
something at...
sanity rolls from Sam and Hubert as you arrive. This is not a
Good.
D8, it's a D6 up for grabs here because the wobbly man is dead.
Nice.
All good.
Okay,
Am
just
I able
just a
to
point
yell
for
anything
Sam.
at the retreating ones to try and get them to stop?
Yeah, you can yell. You always have a yell. Jim, that's gonna be a D6. Oh dear. You can do the sanity
Oh,
thing.
great.
So it's gonna be what 12
12
points
to
of luck
half
to
to
reduce it
3.
to a 3 if you
Yeah,
want
let's
to,
do that.
or otherwise it's gonna be an intelligence roll.
12 points of luck coming your way.
Now is a bad time to go crazy.
Do you have 12 points? Oh yeah, because you just gained your new.
Yeah, and I got 25 back.
Oh my God.
You.
Okay, all right. Yes, so only 3, Hubert. As you come out, you do still let out like a yell and like a move backwards as you see these, again, sort of boar-faced creatures. It's hard to detect terror. Their eyes are these small, like glistening pink things that just peer out at you. You can't see much emotion inside them, but they're backing up and raised hands is a pretty clear sign of something terrified of the three of you. Sam and Hubert, you both have an action if you want to do something. Carter, you can yell.
Can I assist Sam in getting into the ship? That's what I would like to do. I either provide a boost or I don't know, jump and grab the bottom of the ship to try and pull it down. Or...
Well, all right. Sorry, the ship that's got a troll trying to get inside it? Did I misunderstand?
The trolls are no longer near it.
Trolls
The two are
run
backing
as a
away.
dead
One
serpent
fell
person.
down the pit.
Oh, well, I mean, there was something inside the ship, though, right?
Yeah, one of
So-
the,
Yeah,
the dude I
the
killed.
clay-like looking guy.
Oh, he's dead.
He's dead. He got
I
shot.
thought there was another
immediately.
one. That's excellent.
Yeah, we killed the shit out of
That's
him.
It's
Yeah.
worse than that. He's dead, Jim.
What would the two of you like to do?
If
Hubert's
I'm
resisting Sam to
being
get in.
encouraged to go to the ship, I guess I'll go to the ship.
Okay. You succeed your roll. How do you approach? These two creatures are kind of midway through it. As you get there, they will scurry back and away, attempting to flee from you. Are you got like placating gestures and trying to chill it, or are you kind of just being like, I'm going to ignore that and get in the boat?
If I'm being shouted at to go to the ship, I'll go to the ship.
Okay. All right.
I won't worry about the things that are running away from me.
Sam is the best people person among us. If we want
It's
to try.
true. I would
That's
like
true.
to stop. If someone was shouting to go to the ship,
if
and I'm
the
like
ship is
looking at
just
the
like,
little guys, I'm like, Sam would stop.
Scared
for a
little
moment and
guys?
go,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if the ship is like frozen because we've jammed its doors with a potty, that's, you know.
Sam, can you give me so as you approach, what are you trying to do? Do you want to try?
What's going on here? Do we need to get the ship right now, or is the ship going to be there in 5 minutes?
It's trying to close. It was like rising a little bit. You probably don't have indefinite, but you can do another action first. You think you've got to be?
Yeah.
Well, no. In that case, I'm gonna have a go at the little guys. They're just little guys.
All
They're
right.
just little guys.
So, what would you like? Is this going to be the same? Are you trying to speak to them in Narcal?
What's my Narcal like? It's probably not good.
I don't think any of us speak Narcal except for Miss Sinclair.
You've all got
I've got
like a few points early on, I believe.
Man.
I don't have any.
Oh, you might not have
I
taken
got 10. When we first learnt about it, Minnie and I spent some time learning it.
That's it. Yeah, I don't have any.
10 points. So I've got some like basic words, but I think I rely more.
And I would probably say, don't speak Narcal.
Yeah.
I think I spooked them.
I rely more on
specifically.
persuade, because I'm going to like reason with them, go like, we can take those off. Hey, look, we're not going to hurt you.
So you're kind of
also very
trying to mime to them.
We're going to take those off.
And okay, so
I'm going for persuade, like, because, you know, obviously you're in a bad situation, and it's going to help us if we help you. Can we help you out? We
this
killed that
is
guy.
going to be a...
This
is tough. Minnie fumbled the Narco one, and they are terrified of you. You're moving back, and you are now trying to placate. You're also not speaking a language they understand, and quickly in combat with the thing trying to think, you are trying to soothe them down. I think this will
Minnie
be...
and Carter.
Sorry,
I'm terrified of Minnie and Carter. I'm a newcomer.
You are another. They see fleshy creature that speaks Narcal. Sounds like the same sort of thing to me. This is going to be. I genuinely. I think it's probably extreme persuasion with a penalty dice for the fumble.
Oh,
that's absurd.
You are in. This is so cooked. It is, and these things are so terrified of you at this point.
What do you got for me, Jim?
Very quickly, I said I was just going to help out however I could. I am very trained in persuade. Can I, seeing Sam's actions?
Yes.
Yes.
You can negate. Yes, that can negate the penalty. And also, Carter, would you be willing to put your gun down?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to put it down, but like if they're looking at us, I will hold it up in the air and then like slowly lower my hand in a very like obvious like, and then I would like to. My intention is to go over to the ravine and try and pull this other one out.
Sure.
Eventually, I think is to show that I want to help. So I will put the gun away, but make a big show of it. Yes.
If there is an immediate and clear de-escalation from everyone, kind of like Hubert puts the stick down.
Sorry.
Everyone just puts hands up and tries to like show peace, and Sam steps out in the center and tries to calm everything down. It will still be an extreme, but you will not have the penalty dice. So go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Here we go. Talk to you, Sam.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Friendly neighborhood doctor. Let's see.
Did I click that? Probably not. I'll try again.
Oh, come on.
It's not a fumble.
It's not a fumble. Everyone lowers down. The two of them are basically, as soon as the guns go down, they take that as an opportunity to bolt. So two of them go scurrying forward. One leaps over the ravine and comes out. And then, Sam, as you're standing there, can you give me a... actually, I'll just describe those. Suddenly, coming out of the ravine, the one that fell down comes lashing up. You'd come close enough to look at the device and to come to the others. One of the long arms whips around your leg, and suddenly you get wrenched backwards towards it. Dodge or riposte.
Honestly, that's fair. Dodge, please.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Nicely
done.
Success.
They're not super lethal, and
where was that 17?
I know.
45 seconds ago.
No such luck. It lashes out towards you, and you're able to dart away. And then this one, as it comes up onto the ground, you can see that in the falling into the ravine, there's like a as a spark from the back of its collar, and then when it lunges forward again,
buddy.
it suddenly like shocks up. There's a spasm that goes through the whole thing, and it collapses down. And you get the impression that this thing is sort of standing between you and the other two, which are fleeing.
Yep.
It stands on the side of the ravine, and as you go back to the top, it's moving to stop anyone getting closer, but also looking as if it's trying to go as well. Honestly,
gonna
with
back
the
up.
persuasion and the Narcan things, this probably isn't, unless you're really changing the stakes, this isn't another chance to ally it more. This thing holds
This is
its ground for a
backing up,
moment and then
letting it
flees
go.
when it gets a beat.
Yeah.
They will remember what we did here this day.
No, I'm going to see if I can get that collar off. Because it's broken, yes?
Yes.
I'd like to try.
Okay. It takes a moment. You reach down and go to the gun, and by this point, it's beginning to
No,
dart
I don't
back.
want to. I want to get to it,
Okay.
and I'm going to try and.
Pull it off.
I'm going to try and get that the thing that's sparking that's broken. I want to get the back of my knife and just smash it as hard as I can to see if I can properly disable this thing.
Yeah.
And I will, if it tries to like come at me at any point,
It will.
I'm trying to do that. I am not going to resist its attacks.
Okay.
I'm explicitly being like,
Wow.
like if I can get this, I want it to know that it has got like, if it wants to claw at me, it can claw at me. That's fine.
Okay. It is going to.
Yeah, it's fine.
And so
Yeah,
as
it's
you
like
close,
it's like getting a possum out of a storm drain.
so
The
as you,
idea is to kind of like give it both all I've done is hit the back of the thing and hopefully smashed it, and I have like completely just gone limp at that point, not attacking you. Hopefully that's enough for it to, even if it runs away, go, okay, these maybe aren't the worst things in the world. Like still scared animal, but not like that's the intention.
I'm with you. They won't remember.
Also, I do best when I try to intimidate and charm at the same time, and I feel like this is a good way of being like, I'm gonna do something
I agree.
terrifying that's
It's
hopefully friendly.
Very, very in character. Go ahead and give me I think this is going to be fighting brawl, because it's effectively a maneuver you're going for. You are going to take a penalty because you're kind of aiming for something particular, but this thing is broken, so you might get a chance to rip it. It is going to make an attack at you first, so we'll just see if it connects. Again, it's not super lethal. You might be able to just dodge.
Does it go before I do?
This is as you're closing the distance. You're saying you're opening yourself up to attacks and stuff. Like, it's lashing out. We're kind of leaving combat a little bit. It's lashing out towards you and scratching.
Yeah.
So you will take 4 reduced to 3 as it slices across
Reduced
you.
to 2.
Double armor.
Yes, because of your lattice. Sick. But then you can get there, and go ahead and give me a fighting brawl with a penalty. And I will tell you this is going to scale.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the attack roll.
Oh,
What are you doing?
I think the
that
dice
penalty
do not
could be a
want us
fumble.
to have
Okay.
these things as friends.
No. It can't. Oh, yes, it could be a fumble.
What are we doing?
I mean, I can give you 16
Ow.
points
You
of luck.
could possibly, we are kind of
Yeah.
stepped out of combat. You could push this as well if you wanted to. That would be just digging your hands into it and like fully committing. And I'll tell you
maybe
now,
try-
as you've kind of already begun the committing, the risk here is that this is an electrical device, and as you wrench it, you immediately begin to feel like as your own muscles tighten as you wrench on it. The risk of failure here is getting shocked.
Or maybe if
okay.
you've got your knife and you try to like lever it off.
And you
that
jam it with the knife in
risk
it, yeah.
killing this thing.
No, I don't want to risk killing it. I
But getting electrocuted.
So would you like to push, or? Because
I mean, so you said it was going to be
even on a
even on a success.
On a success, you will get shocked, but you will get it off. It's the hard and the further to avoid any damage. So you could just lock it down to the success, eat a bit of zap. I will say this thing do
I mean,
zap
if I'm
quite a
gonna
bit.
if I'm gonna take a zap anyway, and I do really want to get this, I'm happy to give you the 16 points of luck to lock that down to a success. That's
And
fine.
I take it.
Nice.
Because I have an inordinate amount of luck, and it's fine. So
Okay.
yes,
so you-
I will give you that. So I'll take the shock, and hopefully Sam can do some very brief first aid because.
So you're able to get you close the distance, and it lashes out at you. They're not particularly like combative. Honestly, it really feels like it's just lashing on instinct. But it gets a lot of speed at the furthest points of its limbs just by kind of whip cracking towards you, and it slices across you, battering like one of your ribs into the side. But you use that opportunity to close the distance, get the brunt of the or the flat of the knife against it, crack the thing, and as it pops off, there is a zap that goes through it. You're going to take a D8 of damage and immediately give me a Constitution roll.
Sure.
Holy shit. Okay.
Okay.
It spasms
Can
through,
I
your arm locks.
reduce that with luck or no?
This is not. Oh, is there a luck one for?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
There is a luck one. I'll get the rule
Yeah,
up.
could you? Thank you, Jim.
Thanks. And then Constitution,
Yes, please.
hard success.
Okay. This has the risk of also just immediately sending you unconscious once it triggers.
Yeah.
This does not happen. But
got it.
basically your full arm locks up on the inside, like not letting go of the knife. Spasm suddenly snaps open as it's held in place. And this creature takes that opportunity to bolt unless anyone tries to stop it. It throws its long arms on the ground, vaults over the ravine, and scutters away into the underbrush after its peers.
You can spend
geez.
20 luck to heal 1d6 when you
Okay.
take damage.
And the other one is, I think, stopping going to like 0 and death.
And then you can
Yeah.
spend all your luck points, minimum 30, to avoid dying.
And I want all of you to immediately forget that because I've almost found the page and I want to tell everyone.
I'm sorry. It's I've got a shortcut to open it up. I got my Control F. I'm on the job.
Well, as the thing flees, Carter is fully just spasming on the ground.
Oh dear.
And as is also happening, the sphere is like, you hear like a crunch as it's broken through a bonus, and it's beginning to rotate a bit as well. It is not indefinitely hanging here. So
I
what
mean,
does
I
everyone
feel
do?
like our good friend Huberto could maybe grab a
That
lip
is
and
up
try and pull it
to
down.
Huberto. Okay, what
For
does
the
everyone do?
for the second episode in the row, Hubert's going to do his Captain America grab the helicopter.
Yep.
I won.
Yep.
Get me
Does,
on that plane.
Does the snake ladder, is that only physical?
Not going to
cool.
affect this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Has this reduced you to 0, Carter?
No.
Okay. I was just
Did you
confirming with the
check
spasming on the ground. I didn't know if that was you saying you'd been knocked out.
That is me saying I am on 4 hit points.
You got 4 to spare.
We need a
Do you want to take the pulp heal? 20 points of luck to heal
24
1d6.
Not if
No,
I
we've
can
got you
also
right
get
there.
healing.
It's up to you.
No, yep.
If you want.
I'll do that
as well.
because I can do that at any. I can
You
use
have
that
to do
at
it in
any
reaction
point.
to getting damage.
No,
Oh, you have to do it in
Turn
reaction.
around.
Here's the deal. Yeah, it's only a scratch. You can only use it when you get hit. So
That's you
kinda
kind of
wanna do
showing
it
it's not as bad. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
before you get the date.
All right. Well, that would put me
Yeah.
down to that is quite a lot.
That's quite a lot.
Oh, I'm getting
That is quite a lot to spend.
And then I'll get you some first aid as well.
Look, at
That
this
could
point, we're
heal you
about to
up
do
quite
something
well. Yeah.
very dangerous and very stupid. So yes, I will do that. Watch me roll a 1.
Nah.
Okay.
If your luck holds, you'll roll a 6. So don't roll a 3, otherwise we're
Four's not
both
bad.
wrong
Four's
and
not
no
bad.
one wins.
Well, it's not
Pretty
bad.
good.
Feels good. Feels good.
And Sam,
feels
do
good.
you want to do first ed?
Yeah. Well, yeah. As if I can see that Hubert's going to go and grab the ship.
Yeah.
I'll be rushing for the ship.
Hubert, get the
Then I'll
ship,
go-
and then I will come with you to do first aid and give you a bonus dice because I've got 30 in first aid. So
100%. Okay.
Outstanding.
I will
30
open your
is
bag
base,
and hand
just
you
FYI.
things.
Oh, is 30 base?
30's base for first aid.
Oh, there you go.
But like, I think everyone can do it.
You can
is the
still
implication.
help out. I think you're not
Yeah.
you're not being threatened presently, and you don't have anything else that you desperately want to do. Okay.
Never
so
mind.
it's a D.
I mean, take the bonus, but yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's a D4,
1d4.
right? Yep. Okay, so here's another D4.
Yeah.
And Hubert, can you give me a? I guess are you just going for like a? So you get Hubert as everyone else is grabbing it. You rush to it and you put a hand on it, and it's just like a glass sphere. Like, oh shit, there's another grab here. Do you get up to like where the section is closing and get your hands in it and try and find like something to catch onto?
Yeah, I will get in if I need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give me a jump or climb as you sort of scramble your way up and onto it? Because actually it's raising up a little bit to actually get up there and get a vantage point.
Do I have? I'm just checking my
This is so
throw
stupid.
What's your
skill is.
size?
I was wondering if it's better to like throw a hook in, but I think I'll just go for the.
Your size
climb.
is pretty big, right?
Yeah.
And you've got your walking stick too, so you
Do you,
can always
do you
like
want to make a size roll to see if you're big enough to
Yeah.
just get a hand there? You're a
Yes.
you're a huge guy. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. You are big
Lord.
enough
all
that
you
you're able to
need.
just like with the stick as well. You get it up, jam it under it, haul it down, and then now can you actually? It's not actively fleeing. You're strong enough that you can hold it. You grab it and begin to haul it back down. As you do, this thing has crunched through as it's tried to close a lot of the exterior, and you can see it's like it's not bleeding where it's broken. It's more like jelly where the skin has burst open, like it's been twisted at seams, and fat is leaking out and dribbling along the exterior. And you can also still see that although the creature you believe is dead as it's lying listlessly, there's still like wriggles going through the whole thing, not as though there's worms on the skin, but as though the muscles are still like contracting slightly, and you'll actually see the lip like flubber and quiver a little bit on the upper section. Then one of the eyes sort of like twist open, and underneath it you can see clear serpentine like slits on the interior.
Banning the word flubber from being used. That is disgusting.
But you are able to hold it down and in place. Carter, you are healed enough, and what are the four of you doing?
Healed enough, sure.
Yeah.
Catching that breath.
Ship. Yeah.
Let's see what this baby can do.
Ship. Let's anchor grab some ropes, anchor the ship for now, and see what Sam can do with the alien spacecraft.
I think our new plan is fly along a steam vent above a lake of lava. It's going to be great.
So
we're putting Sam in an alien spacecraft.
So you can get a rope.
How much room is there?
You can get a rope over it enough to hold it down, and then Hubert gets two hands on the sides of the sphere and just forces the thing back open. There's a pop from somewhere on the interior as it does not want to do this, and the body just drops down onto the interior, and holding it open, it looks like it wants to close. So unless Hubert commits to just holding it open for the time period, anyone that gets in, it will seal around. Another thing to note is, so it just straight up says, this can hold one person or two people with a combined size of 120 or less.
Sam, I have a little bit of narcle, and you have a little bit of narcle, and we're both, I'm not a large person.
You can both
40.
see the occupancy limit written in narco to the side.
My size is 50, so we're not even 100. Like, we're not even going to hit 100.
Wait, Sam is skinnier than Minnie.
Yeah.
You wear the flight jacket, but as soon as you take it off, you're just tiny.
Yeah.
Just like, you're just
Sam's been wearing
guy.
platforms the entire time and just not calling attention to
bones.
it. The mustache really adds a lot of weight to the face.
Yeah.
That's it.
So do Sam and Minnie want to climb inside?
Yes, so.
You could also read Narcol and see if you can find the button that says open and land.
Basically, that's going to be
I think you two
we're going inside.
Yeah, and if it takes off with us, at least we'll be together.
So
at least there's two of us. At least Sam's a pilot.
As Sam and Minnie clamber inside the device, there are no clear buttons on the interior. You're also both standing slightly awkwardly because the whole thing is that the bottom does not have a flat surface. It's still a globe, so you sort of naturally slide towards the center. So you're just standing right next to one another. Like, you cannot have comfortable distance here. You're basically right up against one another. I guess back to back would be the least
brace
awkward.
against each other.
Yeah, we'll go back to back.
As you look around, there is no sign of dark. Sorry, and also the body, the corpse, is twisted in the ground underneath you. And whenever you shift, the whole thing
Pull it out.
You could get it up and out. Pulling it out. Yeah. It's broken in the center, so it sort of ragdolls down, and putting your hand on the body to wrench it out will tear the skin of what is clearly an exterior suit of the person that has been fattened and enriched with just pools of fat, and as it pulls away, there's a wet slime left underneath it, and under that is a clear scaled serpent person. Your instinct, Minnie, would be this is possibly to survive in the cold. This would warm them, and the skin is warm. It's like it's still alive slightly, Sam.
Good.
It's not great.
That's
good.
That's
not ideal. Can we just shove it back down?
Let's.
I think that's a problem for Hubert and Carter.
Yeah, that's right.
The serpent person is dead. It's the skin, the suit of person that's slightly
Oh, no, we get it, Dave. We're just choosing to ignore it.
We just don't want it.
No.
Chat has raised a good point. Is lance it inside the vessel?
Oh yeah,
definitely not. Stay outside in case.
Could you imagine? You've been in a cafe with a pigeon trapped in it, right?
He could fit in.
Is his size less than 30?
We
so, yeah, probably
are
tiny.
not sure that this thing has air holes. Just
Oh,
as a
it
reminder.
absolutely does not have air holes that you can see. There are
Yeah,
no holes.
yeah.
This looks like
We're working
fully
on it.
seals.
Okay.
All right, so,
So
there's
there are no
buttons,
clear
switches.
buttons. What do
we
you do?
control it with our
Left?
Do
minds.
you try and think
I'm going
really
to think-
hard?
I'm going to
We'll
try and
just say
think land
knuckle.
really hard.
What do you-
yeah.
We'll say narcal stuff.
What do you say in Narcal?
Ground, right?
Land.
I don't know. Ground, down,
Land.
ground,
Land.
earth.
Okay. You probably know
Land.
the
Land
word.
is-
You probably know the word ground, and you cycle through a few of them.
yeah.
Minnie, you can also actually. It's long enough. You like get out your journal
Yeah.
and like thumb through it
by
and find a
different
word.
notes.
Minnie, can you please make a power roll?
Okay.
Jim's got a question.
Jim?
The doors are shutting, right?
They're trying to.
Yeah. So once they're in, I think we're going to let the doors shut pretty quick. We have rope, right? Can we chuck in a rope, let the doors hopefully shut over the rope?
You
And
suspect it will sever a rope. It was beginning to cut through a person.
you're right. Good point. I
Like a
retract
braided
instead.
chain or something might survive, but then it wouldn't close.
You've already given us enough rope. I don't think we need to
Nice.
go any further.
Minnie, you say the word ground in
Ground?
Narcal, and as it hits around, you feel a sort of a throw for a moment, and then your consciousness expands ever so slightly, and the thing slams down onto the ground and go boom.
Hey, we did it.
Behold the mind orb.
Minnie, this thing
Do
can
we hit the
travel
roof?
through
Just
the
Sam and
air
I just go poof.
at speeds of 300 miles per hour and higher. This thing, like, you are suddenly a little bit scared of how much control you have, because as soon as you genuinely, you think a little bit of something else, and the thing rockets to one side and slams into another tree. Sam is sort of like just tossed around on the interior.
It's
Amazing.
very. Don't think of pink elephants.
Yeah.
I can fly it.
Can we
Think
can
open.
we get the door opened? Open?
You sort of take a moment, you run through voice, and then you think open, and the thing and opens up once more.
Nice.
I can go down to the hemisphere sort of state. And after a bit of practice, you are able to sort of get it to sort of hover in place. But again, Minnie's sort of so focused on like not thinking of anything else and just like kind of removed from the conversation. Now it is 1:15, so we're going to look to wrap here. What I would like from you though is any sort of direction or strategies or whatever, final, basic closing remarks.
I would say we confirm the entrance location, because this thing was kind of going down here, whether it was just meeting or whether that
I
fissure
think
is
it was
big
meeting
enough.
these dudes.
The
Yeah.
other option is the Vormi that have fled have left a fairly clear trail, and you could attempt to track after them as your other.
I think on foot, Carter and I are going to take the most direct route, and I think that we will send a vessel in circles around and then kind of flying after us.
I don't know if Sam is my best companion for this. I think Sam should be with Carter, given low health.
I'm also thinking, we don't. This thing doesn't need a pilot. I could go back to my flying machine, and then
Oh,
We could have
that's
two
cool.
flying
You could use this to
Yeah.
drop you back off at the fly machine pretty quickly.
yeah.
We could have
I
two
could take
planes.
one.
What's your
problem
size,
is-
Carter? Can the two of you fit? Carter's 50, so I think so. Yeah, the two of you can fit. Hubert's the only one who can't go in with someone. Hubert can't go. If it was Hubert,
What's
he'd go.
Yeah.
what size?
90.
What's Hubert's size? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd have to be like 30.
I'm 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
All right,
We could take off
Yeah.
a bit.
chop off an arm,
Yeah.
leave it on the
Well,
side.
Minnie is the only person who can currently fly the knockout device,
True.
the snake person device, and Sam is the only person who can fly his device. So yeah,
Hubert looks like you're going hang gliding.
Hubert's
plan.
strapped back onto the plane, how everything went really poorly last time. Okay.
Sam, we
well,
have
do
to
we
come
want-
pick him up though.
is the idea that we're going to take both flying machines into the volcano, or are we going to take like for escape? Like that's not going to be particularly stealthy. It's good to have them for
No,
escape
it's
purposes, but I'm not sure that that's a great idea.
have the
We still need to find an
inklings of a plan.
entrance. We don't have the entrance yet, unless we do.
And we know that we know which side it's on, and we know that this craft can go in.
Yes. So it's a way to get us in, or it's a way to get two of us in, at least. But we'd need to
Good
find
enough.
another entrance.
What do you want from us, Dave?
That's all good. Yeah. Just a bit of direction, a bit of light scheming is more than enough. So with
The scheming is not towards the fleeing servants and towards
that's okay.
the exploding volcano.
You can go after them later, or if you want. So with the transport sphere under some level of control, and with the flying machine
Nervous,
cage not too far from
sweaty
here,
palmed control.
terrified of the power you now wield, we will leave our heroes here as, you know, yet another spasm begins to shake through the ground, steam begins to gush up, and elsewhere, or actually, sorry, very close at hand, the volcano is beginning to awaken.
Just as a fun little aside, Carter absolutely looks at this thing and goes, "Yeah, I wonder if it's got weapons."
Think
don't.
I didn't say it.
Shoot.
I thought it.
Destroy.
Do not say anything aloud.
I don't. Absolutely don't.
Okay, but how loudly did you think it, Carter?
Yeah, and how close to
I
it did you
don't
think it?
speak.
Why
Knock
fucking
off.
even say?
Doesn't matter. I think with these things,
if-
everybody think quietly.
Keep your
If-
minds locked.
If I get inside, I'm going to wonder, does it have an ejector seat?
Wonder if the door opens from the bottom. All right, we will leave everything there, and we'll be back here. Same place next week, lightly different time zone pending.
Ish.
So it'll be like an hour difference, worst case. We'll whack away a message up in the Discord. The Twitter notifications will be updated as well. So we will see you here very, very soon. Thank you all for watching, and thank you so much for playing. We will catch you in a week.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for keeping.